All right. I do believe it is time. Okay, most people settle for bed around 2100 or later, and by 2 a.m., the streets are empty. So I suspect that this game is going to encourage me to go to bed. But I don't know that I have money to be able to sleep somewhere, and I'm kind of concerned about the well being of Mr. Ocelot here. I don't think. So something that was interesting that got brought up in a comment on YouTube is that so when I was expressing my confusion about like why is somebody in a greenhouse in March such a point of contention, it was pointed out to me that like the weather in this part of the world is completely unlike anything I have ever known. And I did admit this last week that my reaction to it might have been because of my life experiences, um, and so my confusion about Ocelot's disbelief may be unreasonable, which is one of the reasons why if you're setting something in the real world in a place that you don't know intimately well, you should do a lot of research, because small gut things like that may not be the same from place to place to place. And for example, I suspect that the people who made this game, who are from this kind of climate, perhaps, that they wouldn't expect somebody else to think, March, I mean, it's cold, but you can just have your little greenhouse and it's fine. Um, I mean, you have to be aware that there's like the other half of the world where seasons are flipped. So obviously that's going to change things a bit. But even more than that, like there's I don't know. It's one of the things that's most intimidating about writing about places that you haven't lived in. If you get something like that wrong, like if I wrote a story that was set in Estonia and I had somebody doing something like hanging out in their greenhouse in March because the greenhouse was powered enough to have plants growing then, and it was not supposed to be like super well off people who could afford to have a really fancy greenhouse, it would it would break the suspension of disbelief. It would break plausibility for people who knew that that wasn't the way things were. um, on the other hand, if you were to write something in Texas and somebody was reacting that way, I would be confused as well. So it's interesting. It's interesting. And if you want to be a writer of different areas in the world, I think it behooves you to get firsthand experience as much as possible with different places and different climates, different situations that you are interested in writing about. Um, I know that I would never have been able to write convincingly about snow until I moved to a place where there was snow, because you know about snow in theory, but it isn't until you experience real amounts of snow in real everyday living situations for yourself that you really understand. Like those of you who have grown up surrounded by like snowy winters maybe take for granted the fact that you know that your feet make a certain sound when you walk on the snow, but like your car also makes a similar sound when you drive on snow. Um, it's really interesting stuff. I was really excited to learn all about it because it was an entire life experience thing that I didn't know about, um, and now I know more about. Obviously, moving across a continent is not viable for everybody, but I do think it is worth visiting places when you can, or at least do a lot of research and try to get somebody who has firsthand experience with what you're writing about to read over it and let you know what they think. So that's just like a thing that I was thinking about in the subject of writing. I don't know if that's interesting to anyone or not, but that's I thought that was interesting. So we have here the the rest of our journal. It's do not be like the guy who wrote The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Yeah, that's not an issue of not being familiar with the location that you're writing about and not traveling to a place that you're writing about. That's simply making up fake history because it makes for an interesting story, which is a separate problem altogether, I think. Um, All right. So where is the rest of the armor? Okay, so this is just going to fill in because I befriended Cuno in a way. He informed me who took the armor, or who had an interest in the armor, not who took the armor, but who was interested in it. And I believe Cuno said he threw it in the water, if I remember correctly, um, which is really something. Perhaps Cuno is sabotaging himself, but I don't think he understands, for example, how much that armor is worth, and how much of a difference that might be able to make for him. All right, so we don't have any other new journal entries. The Cuno conversation was very interesting. He is a very interesting character. Um, I can see why people have feelings about him. I can see why people have reactions to him. I think most people like him as a character, whether they would like him as a person or not. And, you know, that is one of the beauties of fiction, is that we're able to enjoy and appreciate people that we would never want to have anything to do with if we encountered them in real life. You know what I mean? Like, I try to make make a distinction between characters that I like as characters but hate as people, and characters that I don't like as characters, usually because I think they're badly done. Um, so if there's a villain and I love to hate that villain, if I just can't stand that villain, that's good. I like that in my works of fiction. I maybe don't want to deal with them in real life, but in works of fiction, it's a great thing to have. The real problem, I think, in works of fiction is when there's a character who shows up and you feel that they are poorly done, or they diminish the story experience every time they show up, that sort of thing. Genesis. But Cuno is very definitely a character who is very interesting and kind of sympathetic. Like, you can sympathize with him, you can empathize with him, you can find him compelling, you can feel sorry for him. But I think I would probably have a really hard time interacting with him regularly, because as much as I try very hard to be patient with people as much as possible, I am only human and I have a limited tolerance, as it turns out. Um, Kuno's writers should be proud, because he is a very well written character. He has a lot of complexity and depth to him. You can't just say, this is a good kid, this is a bad kid, this is a kid who means well, this is a kid who is damaged, this is a kid who cares about people, this is a kid who doesn't care about anything. Like, all of these things are true, and none of them are fully true. It's good. It's excellent. I did notice, as I was doing the timestamps from last week, that that C, Kuno S, like, when you know to look for it, you can see more of how her interruptions make the situation worse and kind of take control of the situation when you're talking to Kuno. Like, she doesn't want to give up control in that. She wants to keep her control over him and her control over the situation. I don't know that I believe that she is killing children, but Kuno believes that she is killing children. I don't know where she comes from or why or how. I will try to investigate that if the game allows me to, because I am nothing if not nosy. And I'm very interested, because, what a mystery, you know? That is a mystery. Normally, in a story, the child who shows up out of nowhere with a potentially traumatic backstory is a sympathetic character, but she's portrayed as, like, she's evil. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting choice. Especially worth noting is the fact that it's a female character who is violent and terrifying. That is a traumatized little girl, of all people. Because you can have characters of all genders, of all types, but that's not the typecast that one would normally assume. So kudos to them for that. So last time we had either taking down the body or talking to the gardener, and you all got to chat at me and tell me that it would take more time to get down the body. That will actually be a whole scene as opposed to just a brief conversation. So we went and had to load our save. Thank goodness for autosaves. To avoid being unnecessarily racist to the gardener. We did learn that there are people that, according to at least Ocelot's sense of paranoia, perhaps, the townspeople may be keeping an eye on me and this investigation. Now, I don't know that I would say it's the townspeople at large. I mean, for all we know, she could be hired by the union that is responsible for a lot of the trouble that's going on around here. Or she could be hired by some other group that is affiliated with whoever strung this man up on this tree. We'll see. Failing the gardener check and reloading is part of the Disco Elysium experience. Yeah, I've heard that a number of people had to do that. I'm actually really glad to have gotten that over and done with, because that tells me like that has established that it's okay that I can do that, you know, if that makes sense. It's like once you've done like the first, like it's like dinging your car door for the first time when you get a new car. Once it's been done once, you can kind of breathe easily. So now we know. If I need to, I can and will do it. But I'm generally speaking going to avoid making a habit of it. That's my general policy on that. So that leads us to what I think I want to do next, which is taking the body down. I think that Kim would be really disappointed if I left the body up any longer. And I feel like because I've been taking so long to play through this, it really does seem like it has done some strange things for my ability, like, or my feelings about the game, not like enjoyment or not enjoyment, but the confusion about the game that one would normally have on the first day. Things are kind of beginning to gel for me. And I don't know if that would normally have happened, but so for me, it feels like it's a good time to get the body down. So what Kim told me to do, at the end of the day, you know, it's late. It is, what, 9:30, almost 9:30 in game time. So we should probably get this over and done with, and then let Kim go to sleep. I'm sure he's going to want to do that. So I'm going to do that. I may regret this decision, but I'm going to take this decision, and we're going to do this. Again, a reminder to everybody, if you want to yell about this, if this is going to be a big scene, for example, get thee over to the stream spoilers section of our Discord, which you no longer have to ask permission for. I should probably change. I should probably change that auto text. You don't actually have to ask permission. But yeah, hop on over there. Just join the stream spoilers channel and dive on into the conversation. All right. So I think it's safe to say that we've probably got a content warning for dead bodies about to happen right now. So if you are squeamish about the dead body, you can always go sit in a waiting room and let the mods tell you when it is safe to come out. Does that sound good? Are we good? Is everybody all right? Everybody has stepped out who needs to step out? Do 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 do. Okay, I have given you your chance to head out, and now we're gonna go ahead and go for it. This might be horrifying. We'll see how well I can handle it. So far, this game hasn't given me nightmares, so let's hope that holds, shall we? All right, let's go.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and white boots. His skin is marbled with decaying veins and blotched by lividity. On his chest, a fading web of tattoos. The cargo belt used to hang him from the tree looks reinforced.
I hope I don't get myself killed trying to take this man down. I have 1 health. I got killed by a ceiling fan. It could happen. Alright. I think, like, I've talked to him, I've inspected everything, I've done everything that I can think to do, honestly. I don't think there's anything else that I'm going to get out of this that I haven't already. I was about as thorough as a Lauren is capable of being. Probably left some stones unturned, but overall, I think I was relatively thorough. So. Is it just me, or does this branch kind of look like an elephant trunk? You know? I kind of think it does. I don't think I mentioned that earlier, but that's what I was thinking. Let's go for it. Okay. Let's get the preliminary examination mark complete. It feels weird to be progressing the plot, but we're doing it. We're progressing the plot. The trees Mario, that's right, yes, because we got to see Elephant Mario. Oh, and Star Ocean 2 is gonna get remade and re-released. I'm very excited about that. All right, let us do this then. We're gonna get this man down from the elephant tree. It's hereby what I'm decreeing this tree. It can't be called the hanging tree. That name's already been taken. All right. Yep, the preliminary examination is done. Let's get him down from there. Still need to ask people about his tattoos. It says you can ask 2 people, which makes me wonder if you're only able to ask 2 people and then it takes that away from you. And if so, do you have to be really intentional and strategic about who you choose to ask? I don't know. Part of me wants to make a save, show it to 2 people, see what the response is, and then load my save. But that would be maybe gaming the situation, the system a little bit more than perhaps I ought to. All right, let's get him down.
The steel reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought chain cutters, but I don't see a good angle of approach to the belt.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about, is like, how are we going to get him down? And that's where I can see it potentially causing death to poor Mr. Ocelot. Hey Dave. No, we haven't done this yet. We're gonna close off day 1 by doing this, and then we're gonna debrief with Kim, and then we're gonna go to bed. Obviously, I'm gonna be able to fit all of this in one stream because I'm Lauren, and if I am anything, it is very good at getting things done efficiently, by the book, following a timeline. No worries, Dave, no worries. No, last time we spent practically the whole time talking to Cuno, which was really interesting. And the time before that, we examined the body. So that's what it is. That's what you've missed. Oh, I'm so concise. I'm the most concise. That's how you know I've been replaced with Florence the Loot, everybody. All right. So I'm going to be laughing and joking a little more than usual because this is potentially going to be really upsetting content, and that is one way for both coping with it for me and also relieving the tension for you. So please forgive me if there's a bit of a disconnect there. Yeah, I was just saying, Dave, like at the beginning of this stream, I was just saying what a good character Cuno is. He's a very, very well-written character. Lots of depth there. All right, so Kim is trying to figure out how to get this belt down. And yeah, that's what I was trying to think. Is like, how are we going to get this belt down? It is not going to be an easy task. So I guess we'll see what we do. I have not heard his old voice. You mean the dead body's old voice? I heard that changed.
He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique. He thinks it's frustrating, annoying, and harder than he thought.
I'm sorry. I'm really amused by this. There is really nothing to be gained by being like, unique is not actually what he means. It's kind of a euphemism. He's actually just complaining about it. No, well, I'm glad they changed Cuno's voice to be what it is. I think it suits him. I wonder why they changed it. If maybe people found him too off-putting and therefore put off talking to him and therefore didn't dig into the dialogue with him. That would be my guess. I really appreciate rhetoric here being like, here's some like useless Something useless, like, yes. Yes, that's right. But again, Kim is not going to he's not going to actually overtly express his displeasure with something. He tends to be more polite than that. So perhaps we should be, perhaps Rhetoric is pointing out to me that Kim is more upset than he would otherwise appear. Thank you, Rhetoric. That's useful information. I will file that away and see what I can do to make life a little easier on my partner. I may not succeed. I will probably not succeed. All right.
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material.
Yes, because we did conclude that it was airship strength. I wonder if I hadn't made that observation, if the dialogue here would have been differently written. Let's see. All right. Can't someone else do it? We could saw the branch. Seems like a lot of hassle. Let's not do it. Maybe we could shoot him down. No. Maybe we can ask for help from the harbor. Ah, yes, get involved. Get more NPCs involved. Or I'm out of ideas. Let's have another look at him. See, can't someone else do it? Maybe we could ask. Maybe there's someone we can ask to help.
Someone else? You mean like the police?
Oh, I could let Kim down. Kim does not like that. Okay, so I was like, maybe this is gonna be different than that. Maybe this is going to be like, maybe we can get help, even though maybe we can get help is another answer, or like another question. All right, so we can either say yes, exactly, call the police, which is definitely the clown shoes answer. I mean, someone who's below detective, which is definitely the authority answer. And we all know how I feel about authority. Or you have a point there. All right, Kim.
Sadly, yes. The whole RCM is out there right now, doing the exact same thing we are. Are we in a rush to help them? Not with this on our hands.
He covers his nose. Okay, he's like, well, we can't help them with their problems. They can't help us with our problems. Everybody is doing their best. Well, or at least everybody else is busy. It's not quite the same as everybody else is doing their best.
I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others won't come to help us. And we have a growing sanitary concern here. We need to get him down, fast.
Yes, this is why Kim would be really disappointed if I waited until tomorrow to do this, I feel. There is something really gentle about the way he says, I know it's hard. He's very sweet. Let's see. We could saw the branch. I don't know that we could saw the branch, but we should offer this forth as an option.
Climb up there and saw the branch?
Yeah, it seems dangerous.
There has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees.
Yeah, because I think falling off of trees is actually not a great thing to do. I have never fully properly climbed a tree, so that is not something I have first-hand experience with. But I am led to believe it's quite dangerous. Even from a not overly, from what seems like a relatively low height, it can still be very dangerous. So yeah, so when I was growing up in Dallas, there weren't very many trees because that part of the country is in the Great Plains. And formerly had been like, cotton fields or other kinds of fields, or even like my particular neighborhood had previously been near an actual airport, a small airport of some sort. And so like when they built all the houses in the neighborhood I grew up in, like they planted these little sticks in the ground, but they were little sticks. Like there were no big trees. They are now pretty big trees that you could probably climb, but I'm not there climbing them now. So yeah, it's just not something I had much experience with because there just weren't that many options available when I was a kid. So again, things you take for granted that may not be universal, as it turns out. All right. I'm going to ask some stupid questions here, or make some stupid suggestions, because I'm Ocelot. Seems like a lot of hassle. Let's not do it. Is not an acceptable option because that is going to disappoint Kim, and we can't disappoint Kim. I have decided. So maybe we could shoot him down. Oh my god. Also, that's a really dumb idea. However, I will say, in the action entertainment that Cuno likes to read, it is actually probably not that uncommon. I mean, isn't that the stereotypical like cowboys stopping an execution type of thing? They shoot through the rope so you don't get hanged. So, I mean, it's like steel reinforced or something, so that's not going to work here, but I feel like it's a fun clown shoes thing to say, so I'm going to say it. Maybe we could shoot him down.
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his head off!
The enthusiasm is unrestrained. Yeah, alright, Cuno asks.
How?
The lieutenant remains unaffected. Like, he would seriously consider this as a possibility if it seems like the best idea.
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch, that's a good spot to aim.
So you can either have an answer, say, I don't know, just, shoot up there maybe, point towards the branch. Just shoot the belt, the bullet will break it. Or there, the buckle holds the belt together. I will trust visual calculus. It has not yet given me a reason to doubt it. Yeah, Robin Hood could totally split a rope in twain, to sort of bastardize a quote from Robin Hood Men in Tights, which was not a movie I fully appreciated as a child because comedies are not often for me. I'm glad to know that Chrono and I are on the same page. All right, so I'll point to it and say, there, the buckle holds the belt together.
Where? Ah, yes, I see. If the shot hits that, there might be a chance to release the belt.
Okay.
Yeah, now we're talking. Entertain a Cuno with some shit.
One thing I will say, like, they did a really good job of casting him. Like, he always sounds like they managed to make him sound really, like, delighted by things like this. Like, you can hear he's saying it with a smile.
They'll miss. The pigs will miss Cuno.
So now that I know not to trust her and what she's talking about, is she trying to egg us on? Is she trying to egg him on? Like, what is she trying to do with this? Is she trying to keep him down now that he's excited about it?
The lieutenant is undecided. On one hand, he wants to shoot some gun. On the other, it's an awfully stupid idea.
Okay, Suggestion can tell that Kim is not discounting it because he wants to do it, according to Suggestion. Man, I have to make a decision. This is actually not the best idea. I'm pretty sure that just shooting her gun here is a bad idea. I don't think this is very smart. But is it the sort of not very smart that we're gonna do? Or not really do? Because the problem is if I can't go and get somebody to help me with this at this time of night, probably. Because they're probably going to have turned in or maybe they'll be drunk. And then there's just going to be... I can see ways in which this could spiral very quickly out of our control. Because we're the cops, if we shoot at a thing and people are like, what the hell, there's a bullet. Oh my god, I heard a gun go off. It's like, oh, well, there's cops. So that doesn't make sense. If it's stupid and it works, it wasn't stupid. Like... I think that could be manageable. The big problem is if you wind up shooting someone or something that you don't intend to, which is one of the risks of guns. But bringing in other people introduces all sorts of problems. You know, we might wind up owing another favor to somebody. We might have somebody trying to gather more information off of us. Somebody might get information off of us, or off of the body, or somebody else who we ask to help might actually sabotage things in some capacity, especially if they have an ulterior motive. And I'm not actually asking folks to tell me what I should be doing. or to weigh in on this, thank you very much. I'm thinking through this myself. But again, if I have to stop looking at chat, I will hide chat. So I could, I don't know. Suggestion really thinks Kim wants this, and like I tend to have a lot of faith in Kim, to be honest, especially when it comes to doing something that's a little bit silly. Kim really largely doesn't seem like the sort of person who would do something dumb, really, really dumb, just for the hell of it without like at least thinking through it a bit, you know? And I don't actually know whether Ocelot could talk Kim into doing something that Kim really thought was a really bad idea. So I can say, take the shot, Lieutenant. What's the worst thing that could happen? Which you should never, ever, ever say. Or, actually don't. It has bad idea written all over it. Or, because that's not a bad enough idea. Wait, let me try, which is the worst idea on this page. Or I could say nothing and let him choose. I mean, obviously that's the coward's path. In a way. But now I've kind of got warring in my head the two ways of looking at things. Looking at this as a game where I'm trying to pick, like, get the puzzle of what like basically trying to unlock the puzzle to get the effect that I want to happen, or thinking through like the in-character action and what would be a good in-character thing for Kim, because like egging Kim on or not egging Kim on may not affect what he does here, but it may affect how he thinks of me. Like, Kim seems like a man who knows his own mind well enough that the bad influence of this really, like, drug-addled addict, I don't think that Kim will be easily swayed by Ocelot to do something that he really doesn't think is a good idea. I think he may try trusting Ocelot if Ocelot says I can do something. That we've seen happen. But I don't know that Kim would allow himself to be persuaded to do something he really doesn't something that his common sense says he shouldn't do just because Ocelot told him to. I think he has too much composure and too much common sense for that. However, if I egg him on, if he's like, this is a stupid idea, no, we really shouldn't do this, and I'm egging him on, he's going to continue to think that I'm unhinged. Now, I am unhinged. Or at least Ocelot is unhinged. We do know that to some degree, this man is unhinged. But yeah, okay, so I have to give the answer that I can live with, because I can't control the outcome, you know? Between dice rolls and skills and character motivations and things like that I have no way of predicting or controlling, I can't make the outcome be what I want the outcome to be. So the best thing I can do is to make the choice that I can live with regardless of the outcome. So even if I fail, I'm like, well, I still stand by that. I'm definitely not going to say let me try. I feel like saying don't, it has bad idea written all over it, is too reasonable. It doesn't feel quite in character to me. I feel like I need a little more clown shoes than that. So my clown shoes is going to be to trust Kim to decide what to do. I'm going to let him choose. This may look like I'm abdicating responsibility. And on some level, there is a component of that. Yes. But also, I feel like with the dynamic between Ocelot and Kim right now, Kim has definitely stepped up as the position, or as the figure in a position of authority, not in like higher ranking kind of authority, but Kim has kind of inserted himself sort of like dadly type role in a way. And I think that Ocelot, like many people, young people and puppies and animals, anyone who's like not confident and in control, actually likes having somebody who knows what they're doing in charge. And I think that most people want to have somebody that they can trust in charge. It's really scary having to make decisions, having to carry responsibility. Like, that's really, really hard. And so believing that someone or something that is more capable than you are is taking care of it is very appealing. I think that's part of the appeal of having faith in a higher power, is that you can believe in something that knows better than you do, making things be okay. And well, I wouldn't say that Ocelot's faith in Kim is quite comparable to that. I do think that it makes sense for it to fill a similar need, because Ocelot has been self-destructing. He's desperate. He's kind of got no one in his corner, no one really taking control of trying to help him out or tell him what to do when he needs to be told what to do. And, you know, maybe there's a little bit of like jockeying around where he, even if you do tell him what to do, and it would be a good idea, he still self-sabotages enough not to listen. I feel like it would be the most in-character feeling thing to do. I've suggested this thing. I used my brain surprisingly well to point this thing out potentially, and Kim thinks it makes sense. Kim kind of wants to do this. But, you know, if Kim decides to do this crazy thing, it could be because of my influence, but it's not going to be because I told him to do it. I'm going to let him choose. And this is probably the Kingdom of Conscience answer anyway. But I do feel like it makes the most sense in character here. I think it'd be fun and wild. How's this? If I were playing as Lauren, if I were truly playing as Lauren and trying to play this character consistently as close to myself and the choices I would make as the game allows me to, I would definitely choose to don't do this. This is a bad idea. But let's say nothing and let him choose.
Silence. With his elbow sharp, the lieutenant unzips his jacket.
Is he gonna do it? The children are gonna say something and maybe make him change his mind.
And produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks.
I don't know enough about guns to know that if this is the terminology that you would usually use about a gun. But I'm a little scared that this is actually going to happen. So he's going to do it. I really, really hope that he doesn't hurt anyone or himself. You know, I gotta say, I didn't actually think this was gonna happen. Is he gonna actually go through with it? He put a paper cartridge instead of a bullet. So that does seem like different language, but I don't know if this is this much. Like, what is like a scouring stick? I don't even know how that is. Please don't ask me leading questions. Let me either see it or not see it. I know that it is very exciting and you want me to notice all of the details, but I would rather notice the details than be told what the details are that I should be noticing. This is not, I'm not trying to be shown around. And that may mean that I make mistakes or overlook things, and I hope that's all right. Yeah, so a paper cartridge sounds really interesting. I have no idea what that would look like. Like, a scouring stick sounds really... Like, I'm not even sure what that would do. Separates the scouring stick. Like, he it sounds like he drops it down. Is it in the... I don't know. I don't actually know enough about guns. Anyway, this seems strange. Gives the cartridge 5 tucks. Like, I don't know. But it seems like once he's put the bullet in there, I don't know if he can take... I mean, I guess you can take things out. But it seems kind of like once he's done that, he's actually going to do this. Is he going to take all of his frustration here out on this? To be fair, he's got a lot of frustration, I'm sure, with the situation. Alright, let us see if this man actually shoots this thing down. Maybe you should put some hearing protection in, guys?
That's a Kiel A9090 Armistice, mass-produced muzzleloader, ascetic, frugal, one of the most common firearms in the world.
No, I'm pretty damn sure that muzzle loaders are not common in in like our real world. I'm pretty sure that that's like muskets, like way back when. I'm pretty sure that you put bullets in the other end these days, and then they get shot through. I'm pretty sure you don't drop them in there. So that's interesting. It's interesting that it's an armistice. That I'm gonna file these words away. Okay, so he has a mass-produced super common gun, because that's all I guess they can afford, and frankly, we really do not need to be giving the level of military grade weaponry that we do to police for so many reasons. And this is honestly a really, really stupid thing to do. Like, guns are not toys, and they can do a lot of harm. Granted, as Kim said, this is a sanitation concern. Like, this is a health and safety concern. Having a decomposing body like this around in the public is dangerous too. And we don't have easy options because we don't have friends we can reliably call on to help with this. And we do need to take the body down. So I can understand the hesitation, and I can understand the like why this would seem like a reasonable decision given the circumstances. It is interesting to me that Kim is doing this. Okay. Let's see, as he's gonna do it.
He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches. His finger is on the trigger.
I mean, I'm sure that we could get something else that isn't a gun to help with this. I'm sure that there are tools that exist. This kind of got a little out of hand. I was pretty sure Kim was just going to be like, no, that's ridiculous. But he's not. But you know what's interesting here is that you as the player are trying to abdicate responsibility to some degree and let Kim make this decision. But if Kim does decide to do this, you as the player are still responsible. Abdicating responsibility is an excuse you're making, but at the same time, you're still the one who has made the suggestion in the first place, and you had the option to talk him out of it, and you didn't do it. Silence is assent, you know? I don't think this is a good idea. I think he's actually gonna do it. All right. I don't think I can continue to say nothing. Like, it's one thing to say nothing once and see what he's going to do. I'm definitely not going to choose this second option because I don't like talking like that, and I don't like the kind of like, we're going to shoot a man. Blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I can't in good conscience do that, even in a work of fiction. One feels like it's kind of like a light way of like talking him out of it. There are so many consequences of a bullet going where you don't want it to go. You shouldn't fire a bullet unless you absolutely need to fire a bullet. Hunting. Not really a big fan of guns overall for self-defense either. Just not a big fan of weaponry, but really not a fan of guns. They most often cause unintentional harm. So I don't know. Like, I'm really nervous about just like shooting with the apartment building behind us, you know? I'm gonna talk him down. I think at this point, I've let him do it. He's decided to do it. I'm beginning to have cold feet about this. I'm going to back down, which maybe makes me even more cowardly, but I'm going to do this. Easy does it, partner. Kunos!
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding tenements. A cloud of smoke slowly parts in the air as the lieutenant steps back and says to himself,
All right. Okay.
God damn it.
Oh, that was probably... I guess the child maybe threw off his aim.
he feels bad about it. About his eyes mostly. Just having bad eyesight. Probably from a young age. Whatever you do, do not console him.
All right, empathy. I will trust you on this one. I mean, they do talk about his eyesight a lot and him having to adjust his glasses. Where did he shoot? What did get shot? That bullet didn't just not go. So where did it go? What did it do?
Fucking idiot! Mookaba asshole!
Oh, now he's gonna feel really bad because this child is being really nasty.
Cuno could have hit it easy, but then Cuno's not fucking handicapped, is he?
I did not even consider the children. That's on me. So empathy has said, do not console him. Especially in front of the children. They're just going to make it worse. I'm not going to insult him. Encouraging him to try again feels like a really bad idea. I'm just really not comfortable with this whole turn of events. I don't know. I'm just gonna say what now? We're just gonna leave this alone. We're just gonna cancel this. Step away from it. What now?
I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down without assistance.
Can I have the gun? I should try. No, Ocelot. As interesting as it would be to learn that Ocelot is secretly like a crack shot or something like that. Hey, he could earn his name. I feel like that would be a really bad idea. I feel like that would be a really bad idea, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, maybe we can ask for help from the harbor.
I was really hoping we wouldn't. The Union appear to be suspect in this case. It seems like a dangerous route to go down.
Yeah.
I would really prefer if there was another way. These people might have an agenda.
Yes, that is what I was concerned about. I'm glad to know we're on the same page, Logic. High five.
But what other options? The corpse twists on the belt, like chicken on a skewer.
I want to do this, like... I want to remove myself from role-playing it and just kind of play it like a game and see what happens if I try something, and if I don't like it, load something else. I don't have any points in anything that would make me any good at shooting. So from a gameplay perspective... I'm so bad at making decisions. Yeah, but I'm not going to put any skill points in guns. Who are we kidding? I'm probably going to put it in shivers again. Or the thought cabinet. Yes, Psy Caramel. That is a perfect response. That is a weird game. That is a very weird game. I don't know. So my guess is that hand-eye coordination is the one we want for guns. Yeah, that's the one we want for guns. Pretty sure I do not want the racist supremacists to be involved with this in any capacity. Thanks. I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah, like I mean, at least it's more than 0. So that's something. How do I have more points in interfacing? Is this my gloves? No, I'm still wearing my gross stuff gloves, not my bonus from items. Which item? Does it tell me? No, it doesn't tell me here. Okay, that's fine. Composure, bonus from items. Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I have like no coordination. If I were Kim, I would not let Ocelot do this. The garden gloves make you better at interfacing? But that doesn't make any sense. They interfere with your dexterity. I thought that... Well, what do I know? I have no health. Thanks, Adam. Anniversary day on Disco Day. 27 months. Yeah, that is more than 2 years, friend. Thank you for supporting me. I appreciate it. You don't want to have to make decisions. It's hard. Somehow make it so that the bloated corpse isn't up there anymore. Shoot it down or ask for help. Do something. You're a cop. Fair. Absolutely fair. Fair. Correct. Yeah, the journal is telling me to do it. What would be worse? Badly loosing another bullet when guns are bad and dangerous and I might accidentally hit somebody or something? Or getting the union involved when they may be responsible for the body, or at the very least will have some sort of agenda going on. I really don't want to mess with the power dynamics there. I'd really rather do this without them. Because I'm sure some of them are good and trustworthy, but I don't know them yet. You know, I haven't really spent much time getting to know them. And either way, you know who we could probably get to help with this? The scab leader. He would probably be very effective. Now there's a man who would be able to shoot exactly where he intends to shoot. Oh, if I can get him to do it, that would be amazing. That would reveal his military background, blow his cover, mess everything up for him. I really want to do that. I don't know if the game will let me. That's what I want to do. That's where my brain goes. Well, I suppose the worst that can happen is we can take the gun and we can try it and we can kill ourselves or somebody else and then load our save. And then go see if we can get the scab. The scab leader to do this. Although, of course, then there's the apparent dynamics, even if I would be doing it to try to undermine his power in the situation by getting him to by forcing his hand so that he has no other choice but to show his true identity. My asking him may unintentionally give the impression that I am partnering with the scabs, which is also not something that I want to do. I'm gonna try shooting. I think I'm gonna try shooting. This is gonna go so badly. This is gonna go so badly. Okay, so the reason why I have such a hard time with games that you can die a lot in, that you have characters and it feels like there's consequences. So, not Dark Souls. Because Dark Souls, I didn't have any problems dying a lot. Because I wasn't playing a character with any real presence in the world or personality. There was no expression of suffering when you hurt. Like, it was just basically like, try again, try again, try again, try again. So that was fine. I could do that endlessly. But for example, when I'm playing the King's Quest games, which I love very much, but in order to play the King's Quest games successfully, you have to be willing to try again. You're going to die a million times. In fact, there are compilation videos on YouTube collecting all of the deaths in the older King's Quest games. And in the older Space Quest games in particular, then you get like these little custom animations, which gave me nightmares as a child. But even though I know for a fact that in order to learn what you're doing with King's Quest, it's not necessarily an overly difficult game. You have to just accept that you're going to do trial and error, figure out what you're supposed to do, and then get to the point where you can execute it properly. I can't bring myself to do that because when I'm dying, my friend Gwydion, Prince Alexander of Daventry, is suffering every time I do it. And I just can't in good conscience put this fictional character through that. Even though I know I'm just going to load the game. Because I have an incomplete like separation between fantasy and reality, no matter what I do, that never 100% disconnects. Some part of me is like, these are real people going through this real situation in some other like thing. Like I can't quite make that disconnect. So at the very least, like, it feels as though there's some reality and some real suffering involved, and so it's very hard to do that sort of thing and be like, well, no big deal, I'll just load. That's very emotionally difficult for me, and I recognize that most people do not have this problem. I have this problem. I also have a really hard time watching sitcoms and things like that, and I also have a really hard time watching torture scenes in movies and things like that, and I suspect they are related, that there's something about the way that my empathy expresses itself. I'm not saying that other people who feel this way for the same reasons that I do, or that it's like a lack of empathy or something in other people who don't feel this way. It's just a particular way that my brain is wired. If I had no party and only my player character died, no, because it is only Gwydion, Prince Alexander of Daventry, who dies in King's Quest and comes right back, and they have like a funny little pun sometimes about him dying, and I still can't do it, and it's just him. He's the only one. But I can't do it. He's my pal. I can't let him down, so I'm paralyzed at the thought that I might hurt him. It's really hard. I can't do it. It's not even just cringe. Like, cringe is one thing, but it's not cringe to not be able to handle like actual active suffering, like torture scenes or characters in things dying and in games that you're playing. I don't know. I take it pretty badly. I think it's probably unlikely that I'm going to die, but I might make something bad happen. But I guess it is a video game, right? This is a video game. We're going to try this. It may be a terrible idea. This is a video game. I can withstand making a bad choice in a video game and loading my save if I need to and trying again. Because I can do that. I can do that. I'm allowed. I am allowed to load my save if something happens and I'm really not comfortable with it. Try not to make a habit of it with everything, but see how it goes. See if I'll try. See if Kim will even let me. Saying I should try. I don't know. I think Kim might intervene. It is, after all, his weapon, so if something goes wrong, he would feel responsible for it. But let's see what Kim says. Maybe Kim will take this decision away from me.
It's bad as it is. Us shooting firearms like punks.
Like punks. The ultimate insult. Hooligans. He pauses, then shrugs and proceeds to load the pistolet.
Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. Just don't lose it.
Oh, a little rub, a little salt in that wound right there. The piece shines in his outstretched hand. Now, I do know that piece is actually real world slang for a gun. That much I know.
They only have one gun.
Shut up, Cuno S.
This is the sorriest pair of pigs Cuno's ever seen.
Whatever. Take the gun.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banani poika. Take it and shoot yourself in the mouth.
Feel the weight first. That's very important.
The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal is surprisingly light. Your fingers fit right through the guard, instinctively resting on the trigger.
So if I were the proofreader for this line, I would have marked this line for a re-record, because you do not stick fingers on the trigger. That's only one finger. But he read it fingers. That's a misread. I'm sorry. Okay, so apparently I do know and feel comfortable shooting a gun, because there's an instinctive response to this. And saying that this is surprisingly light indicates to me that if we get Ocelot's gun back, it might be bigger and heavier than this, which is interesting. Clearly he's got a revolver. It's in the name.
The fuck are you waiting for, Cuno? Tell him to shoot himself in the mouth.
Notice she's trying to get Cuno to say the same thing that she's saying. He's not. Alright. Let's try this. Point the gun at the belt. I think that feeling the weight first is a really good idea. Now, that may actually throw you off because it gives her more opportunities to respond. But I think it would be necessary to familiarize yourself with the weapon in your hands. It's a very minor misread. It's just that I would mark it if it were my job to mark it. Sorry. When you've done this sort of thing for a living, it doesn't shut off. But at least, like, noting the misreads in like audio dialogue is a pretty minor bit of work to follow you home. And given the amount of dialogue read out loud in this game, it's actually quite impressive that they have as few misreads as they do. I'm going to point the gun at the belt and see how this goes. See if this child messes it up. See if I mess it up.
The buckle comes into focus in your sights. You stand with your feet planted firmly in the ground and your left hand supporting your gun arm.
So that means I'm a righty. I'm a lefty.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss.
Just ignore her, Ocelot. Just ignore her.
This isn't mere boundary pushing. There is a true suicidal rage in the kid as she's provoking you.
Yeah. Holy shit, you have the option to point the gun at the child. No. That's what they mean by true suicidal rage as she's provoking you. She's trying to get you to shoot at her, is the interpretation that is happening here. Well. I'm going to choose some other options. I'm going to say shut up, and then I'm going to close my left eye, and then we'll see if this raises it beyond 17%. Shut up is probably going to make it worse, but I'm going to try. I'm not going to shoot the child. You can be quite sure that is not going to happen. All right, I'm going to say shut up.
Or what? You gonna fuck me? You wanna fuck me, pig? Is that...
Your field of view narrows. The branch slowly moves, becoming entirely two-dimensional. The metal buckle glimmers, catching the evening light. as the corpse slowly rotates.
Okay. So he's focusing very closely.
The slow movement of the branch in the wind and your shoulders directing the gun sink up, dancing hypnotically.
Look, he's crying. You gonna cry now, fucking faggoty?
Okay, let's see. The likelihood of getting this is extremely slow. Extremely slow. But I'm committed to doing this. Worst thing that can happen, I load. It is a better chance than it was before. So we'll see what happens. This is a very bad idea. Don't try this at home, children.
A plume of smoke erupts from the barrel. Your hand goes numb from the explosion. With your ears still ringing, you lower the weapon to see what happened. You missed the belt, but hit the corpse straight in the chest. Bits of ribcage protrude from the skin. No blood, only a murky sludge dripping down his belly. The sudden stink makes your eyes water.
Well, that sure is a failure.
Oh my god, he's gonna fucking cry. I knew it. What a mulko.
He could start crying. There's something wrong with your weapon, Lieutenant. It keeps missing.
The armistice is sufficiently precise, officer, especially at close range.
He takes his sidearm from you and holsters it.
It's not the gun's fault you can't shoot. It's your pig hands.
Pigs don't have hands. They have, like, fucking hooves or something.
Cuno has hands. Cuno can shoot that shit down for you.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You have the option to say, Lieutenant, we should entrust Cuno with your service weapon. He says he can shoot it down. No. Alright. However, I'm not going to say that's preposterous. We're not giving you the gun, kid, because I just had a moment where I got the kid's trust and I'm not going to throw it away. So I'm going to say, no, Cuno, if I can't shoot him down, no one will. Which is at least speaking Cuno's language.
Cop's bitter because he fucked that corpse up, Cuno. What a fucking kurpiller.
We still need to get him down somehow.
His tone is growing tired now. The stench makes him turn away from the corpse. My answer is, but how?
The bad way. The way I didn't want us to. By asking the harbor for help. They have the tools and the men. If they put him up there, they can take him down too.
But won't it be dangerous?
To ask the suspects for help with the victim's body? To be indebted to Everard Clare? Very much, yes. Which is why I would have preferred us to handle this ourselves.
Yes, I am somewhat relieved to know that my concerns are shared by Kim, because that means that I have some idea of what could go wrong. But, I'm also sorry that those are concerns that we're going to have to deal with.
Clearly we can't.
Yeah, we have failed.
Suck my dick, bitches.
Love it, she's just going on and we're just ignoring her. What's wrong with being indebted to Everett Clare? I mean, I know. This is one of those cases where, like, it's a question that, like, I'm like, well, obviously we have a reason, but because it's a question, I want to pick it. I want to ask it. I want to see if there's more information there than the obvious. But I'm worried if I pick it, Kim is going to think I haven't been paying attention. I have been paying attention, Kim, I promise. How do we get inside the harbor?
From the gates, by negotiating or fighting. I'm unenthusiastic about fighting. Or we can try to find some secret third path. It's unlikely though.
Oh, I'm gonna look for that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's look for an unlikely third path.
To the gates. Let's negotiate.
On the other hand, Rhetoric thinks we can talk our way through this. Rhetoric, you can't negotiate with the bigoted supremacist on top. So we're gonna have to talk to somebody else. You're gonna have to find a third option. There's gotta be a third option. It's gotta be someone else. Rhetoric, if we can talk to somebody else who can get us in there, then you can still count. You can still win. You can still be very excited that we used our words. I'm not gonna ask what's wrong with being indebted to Everett Claire, even if that means... You know, no, let's see. This is gonna be a data point. If he gets mad at me for asking the stupid question like this, then I'm going to know that asking the questions like this that will lead to characters thinking that you're not paying attention to things instead of you as the player retrieving more information. So let's see what happens. What's wrong with being indebted to Everett Claire?
He's a dangerous and corrupt man, and we cannot predict what he will want from us in return.
Yes.
Yeah, don't go being someone else's bitches. You're Cuno's bitches.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much Kim minding that I'm asking questions, so much as Kim being disappointed that I'm not able to make connections, or that I'm not piecing things together, or that I'm not learning things, if that makes sense. But that is fair. Let's get to it then. Leave. All right, I think I'm going to have to live with my own bad decisions. I don't think I'm going to load the save. I think we're going to go with that. That's the sort of failure that we can live with. I think. It's probably good for me anyway. Well, I mean, the thing is, I could have just not tried to shoot it and just been like, this is a really bad idea. Shooting it down is not a good answer. We should probably find an alternative. Access the harbor and ask for Everett Claire's help specifically. There's gotta be an alternative. All right. Let's think about this. Besides Everett Claire, I wonder. I got it up to 28%. I made a bit of a mess. I feel part of the reason why I'm able to like be like, yeah, that's the consequence of what I did, is because Kim also tried to shoot at it. So I'm like, yeah, that's just what we did. We tried being self-sufficient. I want there to be someone else we can ask for help. Grandma here's not going to be able to help us, but Grandma here's not going to say anything.
The woman still has her eyes fixed on the foot.
Yeah, there's nothing to do here. I'm not going to snap my fingers in front of her face. That just seems too rude. Like, I should just be able to ask this man right here to help me. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? We're gonna cause all sorts of trouble. Things are gonna get really ugly. I might not be able to make a good... Things might not wind up being okay in this game. Shocking, I know, right? See if there's any new dialogue options that have unlocked with this man. No.
Work! Right to work! Shame on you!
I just love that it says the ostensible leader of the strikebreakers chants furiously. Okay. Looks like we should go talk to this guy though, because Cuno had interesting things to say. I wonder if I can go back actually and talk to the guy in the apartment tonight. I wonder if I could do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that, actually. Because he'll have more information potentially. Sorry, everybody who thought I was gonna actually do the thing that I'm supposed to do. I'm mad with power. Because I can run. Do you see how much running I'm doing? Run, 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 run. Is Joyce still sitting? I have to think about the wall father. Alright, we're gonna go back in here. Need to do something behind Lieutenant Kitsuragi's back. Sneak out after he's gone to sleep. Okay, that's interesting. I'd already kind of wondered if there were going to be things that I was going to do without his approval. I don't know that I want to do things without his approval. Alright. So this right here, I believe, is where... Cuno said that C first appeared. I want to learn a little bit more about the situation before I go in there, you know? This might be a terrible idea, but this is what I'm going to do. Because this game is giving me the option to do all of these things. Kim had said tomorrow after 2100. But I want to do it today after 2100. I want to see how that goes. Shall we? Alright. Worst case scenario. Somebody kills me. Second worst case scenario, something horrible happens. Most likely scenario, they'll just say come back tomorrow.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security.
You can see there's a light in the window. I don't think that was there before. I will knock.
No one answers.
What?
We should return tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow
Okay.
at 9 p.m.
Okay. Fine. 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 Make it so I can't do this today. See if I care. I do care. I care a lot. Alright. Gonna go and knock on people's doors. Talk to strangers and explore, they say. Do you think I am good at talking to strangers and exploring? I think I'm at least pretty decent about it. I have no idea how you're supposed to do this, but this is what I'm doing. Alright, well. I don't know if I can do all of this tonight. At some point I'm gonna have to, At some point I'm gonna have to turn in. I am supposed to debrief with Kim at the end of the day. Join him on the Whirling in Rags balcony after 2200 when you're calling it a day. Okay. Okay, so we've still got some time for that. All right. Oh, I forgot to ask my station for additional funds. I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. I should probably actually finish those phone calls, but I didn't do that because I got disheartened. I actually really liked that section, but it felt too in character to stop. All right.
Hola, wandering man. How can I help you?
He looks at you with soft and hazy eyes. I got straight to the chase. Cuno told me you were supposed to know about the armor. That's not very graceful, but okay, yeah, let's see what he has to say about that. Sure, why not? Rhetoric, you're letting me down, though. I feel like Rhetoric ought to be giving me better answers, or better options there. Let's see.
The little boy had the good on his promise.
His promise?
To get me into trouble. To sick the pigs on me. Pardon the choice of words. Not mine.
What happened?
I was asked to look into that armor situation. Official Union probe, you know. Track it down, see who took it.
Huh. Why is it an official Union probe?
Did you?
At first I thought, why not? Maybe the pieces can feed the strike. Buy us a few more days under the sun, you know? So I went to this boy. He said he'll make me his prison bitch. He's got eyes everywhere, the cop's in his pocket, and he's the king of Jamrock.
Thanks, Cuno. Cuno has definitely been reading lots of books. And it models his threats after what he reads.
Serves me right for doing menial footwork. I dropped that probe right then and there, and it still got me into trouble. One bad move is all it takes.
So Cuno used us to what? Scare you? Or the probe into the armor, what did you learn? I don't think he learned anything. He's definitely in trouble. I want to say, so Cuno used us to what? Scare you?
It's a minor nuisance. It's all good.
He contemplates taking a swig from his flask. Yeah, he seems pretty chill. The probe into the armor. What did you learn?
I learned that people don't want to talk to a drunk Union man about some armor.
What else?
Kim is just like, no sense of humor here. We do know that Kim does have a sense of humor, but this is not activating it.
Not much. Technical stuff mostly. That was the interesting part.
What sort of technical stuff?
I did some research into this armadura. Let's say I have friends at the library. I didn't get into the material science, just how it comes off.
Explains this with a wry smile. I mean, to be fair, librarians can help you research just about anything. They're very good at that.
How does it come off?
In parts. 4 in total. The helmet was the first to go. The kid says he tore it off and kicked it into the sea. I believe him. The boots were still on the guy last I saw. Too hard to remove.
I guess probably because the legs are swollen.
So, as I count, there are 2 parts missing. The gauntlets and the cuirass. This is where I left off. Too much hassle. More like a job for some militia.
So he's basically like, I'm gonna foist this off on you cops. You might as well. Okay. Hold up. 4 pieces? Helmet, cuirass. Is that how you say that word? He just said it and I don't remember. Gauntlet, boots. What about the leggings?
Oh, they're just gone. They don't exist anymore, if they ever did at all. Forget about them. I did.
Okay, so I can say I'm going to find one piece. One is enough. Or I'm ambitious. I'm going to find all of it. All of the pieces. Or actually, I may have better things to do too. How am I going to take on this side quest? Sophie, what should I do about the side quest? Can you see her at all? She is on the cat tree right there looking out the window. Baby, hello! She is unimpressed. Alright, so we've got a side quest. Am I going to be ambitious? I might take psychic damage if I don't find them all. But I kind of want to try to find them all. Because why not? That feels like something... That feels like just the right amount of clown shoes. That's like... No consequences clown shoes. Boast before each quest for extra challenge and extra reward. Man, maybe so. That's probably what's going on here, honestly. I'm ambitious. I'm going to find all of it. All the pieces. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Like... The helmet's in the water. So I'm going to have to go, like, swimming or looking for it. And who even knows where the other pieces are? Maybe I'll set myself a more realistic goal. But that doesn't feel like the in-character thing to do. Do I set myself up to take more psychic damage because it's the in-character thing to do? Yes. Yes, I do. I'm ambitious. I'm going to find all of it. All the pieces.
All of it? There are junior officers out there, eager to prove themselves. I would leave some for them, and I would leave the boots to processing, but okay. Let's find all of it.
Kim is like, what is wrong with you?
It's implied. He finds it unlikely that you will succeed in this.
Alright, Kim, that's fair. I can't say that I think Ocelot believes in himself either. I think this is all swagger.
And Mesqui's epic then, all across Martinez. I hope it will be a real bonanza for you.
He glances south where the canal runs. It's not Kim possible, yeah. Thank you for your cooperation, sir.
No problem. If you see that kid, thank him from Call Me Manana. Thank him for showing me the way.
The way.
He is sincerely grateful. He is not tracking down pieces of armor right now.
Thanks, empathy. Alright. The measurehead thing didn't go well for me. Could you help me with that somehow? Let's see what this guy wants.
Sorry. Busy surveying the situation. I'm sure you'll figure something out. You guys have all sorts of gadgets these days.
He takes a swig from his flask.
Wiretapping, telescopic batons, futuristic circuit bending to infiltrate harbor machinery. Maybe you could even knock that Kowalson crane over using some remote controls.
These are some interesting ideas, okay.
Or calling in tactical air support. You guys have air support, right?
I'm pretty sure we don't. At least not all of these things. I'm not gonna ask him if we've got air support. That would just disappoint him.
I get it. Hush hush about the secret technology.
He pats the side of his nose with his index finger.
Something changes in his disposition. A merciful smile in the corner of his eye.
What did I say that got through to him?
All right, I may have some advice for you on how to deal with Jean-Luc there, out of solidarity to the RCM. It's low in technology, however.
That's interesting. Is it because I'm being reasonable and decent? I don't know. Alright, yes?
First, don't fight him, obviously. Second, get him to share his theory by being subordinate. Admit your lack of expertise. Basically grovel. That's how I do it. You're welcome.
He tips his beret and concludes, I thought I tried that.
Maybe that would work. We'll have to see.
Thanks, conceptualization. Good talking to you. Gotta run. Kim has something he wants to say. Kim, honey. I see that there's something you want to say. What do you want to say, Kim? We're gonna walk away from the crowds and then talk to Kim. Although it's actually probably better to have conversations in crowded areas where you are less likely to be heard. Alright, let's see what Kim has to say. It is 2200, so he might be like, it's time to turn in. Do you have anywhere to sleep? And I'm like, no.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
I haven't paid the cafeteria manager for damages yet.
You should take care of that, then.
But I don't have the money.
Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street. We'll figure something out.
Thanks, Kim.
Though he finds this situation frustrating, he is doing his best to not make you feel any worse than you already do.
Thank you, Kim. Because Kim realizes that whatever's going on with Ocelot, nothing will make him feel worse than he makes himself feel. And Kim is a very compassionate person, I think. Alright, where's the rest of the armor? Cuno lied to you. Return and confront him. Okay. I don't know about confrontation per se. Pay for damages. Ask your station for additional funds, or try negotiating with the cafeteria manager. I'm going to try to negotiate. We'll see what happens. Getting the hanged man's boots. In order to succeed, 1, the body has to be down. 2, the autopsy has to be finished. And 3, Kim has to be absent. He wouldn't approve. This will be devilishly tricky, so don't beat yourself up if you manage to send the body to the processing without getting a hold of the boots. That's not going to happen. That's not what I meant. I should have probably said I was only going to get 1. I didn't realize it was going to mean those. Alright, I guess it's time to go into the whirling in rags and admit defeat. That I didn't manage to solve everything today. And there's going to be a whole new day full of problems tomorrow. Oh, there's more people in here now, though. Look at this. I can't talk to most of them, though. Is this guy still snoozing? Hey, buddy, are you still out cold?
The worker is in a deep slumber.
Still.
On the counter, rolled out of his open hand, you see a blister pack of headache medicine.
Ruckus talking to Garte. Oh. This guy right here is wearing a Sans hoodie. I mean, he's not, but he is, you know. Sorry, you can't expect me to not talk to this person. Right? There's no way. Oh, it's all about money, you know. You gotta spend money to make money. Money is what really matters. They say money can't buy you happiness, but that just means you don't have enough money. You have to invest your money wisely. You can buy stocks with money, and then use those stocks to make even more money. That way you'll have enough when you grow too old to make new money. Real estate is the graveyard where tired old money goes to rest. Money is what literally makes the world turn. The laws of money are just like the laws of nature. Unpaid labor doesn't net you any money. There's no such thing as free money. Money is all about numbers. Money is actually all about trust. It's all about money, you know. Okay, he's looped. Well, that's very charming. Oh, and there's like some other dude here. Yeah, so there's... Oh, the cafeteria thing is open. I'm gonna see what happens if I go in here. Just I want to look. I want to look, that's all. Oh, this is not the cafeteria. This is a kitchen. Oh. The dishes are drying. They smell of chemicals and pine trees. Oh, there's a person in here. Good thing I can do that because I couldn't see that. Let's see.
Yes?
Oh, that's Kim. Okay. Never mind. That is my person following me around. Oh, what is this? Oh, hold on. There's an observation. An aroma of spices, alcohol, and tomato hangs in the air. Do I take somebody's change? I feel like that's a bad idea here. Especially if I'm going to try to negotiate with this man. Be like, hi, I've got like $3. That's really not very much. See what kind of a chore I can offer to do for you. Or something that I can negotiate to help with. Or something.
Can I help you?
So about that money I owe.
Yes. Have you got it?
How much do I owe you again?
A lot. A lot. For the room, drinks, and broken window, 130 real.
I was wondering if we could come to some sort of arrangement for tonight.
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
Kim is about to say something. I'm going to let him. My options are either I will pay you back tomorrow. I'm an honest cop. That's not going to fly with this man. 2, it's cold out. I'll freeze to death because I'm losing the stupid money game. Or 3, come on, man, after everything I've been through. Or Kim is about to say something. Let him. I'm going to let Kim do this. Kim is a man to trust. We'll see if he can fix this problem for me for now.
I understand your predicament as the manager. However,
He adjusts his glasses.
I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Fair point.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and
I'm curious what illicit activity he is cutting himself off from saying there. We'll find out.
He shrinks back a bit under the lieutenant's severe gaze.
Oh, I may not be friends with authority, but apparently Kim is willing to work with it when the circumstances are right.
I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment.
Hold on, I still have my key, you know. Or this conversation isn't going anywhere, is it? I'm gonna say I still have my key, you know.
Good luck trying to use it.
He taps his foot against a metal box installed in the back of the counter. What does that mean?
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock.
That's interesting. Okay. This conversation isn't going anywhere, is it?
Not until you bring me the money.
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Alright, I'm sorry, Kim.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
I don't know what this would be. I've seen something here at the Whirling, a thing I need to talk about. I don't think I'm going to unload on this man here. I'm just going to say goodbye. Well, am I going to take some of Kim's money? Oh, Kim, I don't want to have to owe you money. Kim, you don't have much money. Now I have to find those pieces so that I can sell them and get Kim his money back that he's gonna loan me. Alright, see how this goes.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Okay.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Okay.
Transport enclosure. Regular people just call it the cage.
Pick up the radio? I don't want to have to make... I don't want to have to make Kim have to sell his stuff. Let's pick up the radio first.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Alice, please connect me to Station 41st, Lazarus.
It will take just a moment, officer.
Her voices fade out into the familiar radio static.
Should be her voice fades out. That's actually a typo. And the reader there did his best.
Gottlieb, what do you want?
Oh, he's not going to be thrilled with me.
He's carelessly chewing on a piece of hard candy.
I was told to call the Lazarus. People are worried about me. Or else I'm in a bad way. Talk a real bad way. I mean, if he knows who I am, then he's gonna know what to do here. Sorry we're doing this, but like, I wanna also, maybe I'll ask they're not gonna give me money. This whole thing's a mess. I'm gonna say I'm in a bad way, Doc, a real bad way.
Oh, it's you.
You can tell. The man is unpleasantly surprised.
Was that a snarl or a suppressed groan? No love for you here.
I've lost my memory. All of it.
With all the damage you've been dealing yourself with drugs and alcohol, I'm not surprised.
There is no surprise in his voice, only careless superiority.
You're not surprised? Okay. Anything else?
What else? I'm not a brain doctor. Look on the bright side. You've got a whole new life now. Use it wisely.
It's hard to say if he doesn't believe you or doesn't care.
I think I've had a heart attack.
And you survived it. Congratulations. Are you mobile?
Yes. This time I had to load my save.
Even better. Anything else? I wouldn't worry about that. Officers your age have coronary trouble all the time. Also, death is a natural part of life.
Amazing. I'm going to ask who I am. Just to hear what he has to say. Hopefully I won't take more psychic damage for this. I took another one. I don't remember what it was for today, but I did.
Yes, there's no end to the misfortunes fate has seen fit to rain upon me.
He's so dramatic. This German fella is very not very invested in the well-being of my character. Sure, but can you tell me about myself, as in who I am?
Who you are? You lost your human visage a while back. Now let's get on with it. I've got more important things to do.
Very nice. Isn't there anything you can do for me?
What? You want me to do blood work for you again? Tell you just how bad things really are across the board? You want another rundown of everything collapsing inside your body?
So he's done this before. The another. That's the big thing here. His body is falling apart, and the doctor knows it. He knows it. No, that doesn't sound like something I can handle right now. Maybe I'll say, I see your point. Might as well just get back to work.
Do that. I need to go. Some idiot has glued his eyelids shut with cyanoacrylate. It looks like Mactorson, but it's hard to say because his eyes are swollen.
There's some really good doctor-patient confidentiality right here.
It's not fucking cryoacrylate. It's super glue, Doc.
Cyanoacrylate is superglue.
I was gonna say, that's what that sounded like to me. Thanks, Encyclopedia. I guess that's it for now. Suddenly you hear the already familiar voice.
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
Could you run a serial number from a pair of armored boots for me?
Sure, officer. What's the number? And the make of the armor, if you know it.
Alright, I'm going to give that information.
Got it. I'll contact the ICP database immediately. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have dug up something useful by then.
Okay.
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is an inter-Isolari law enforcement service, the crown jewel in the Moralintern diadem, alongside EPIS and the coalition government.
That's so many names and words that I don't know. That's so many names and words. Because I was about to say, what is the ICP? But Encyclopedia is here for me with more words I don't know. International Collaboration Police. It's a law enforcement service that are across the different water-based regions. So there's the ICP, the coalition government, which we've heard a bunch. And then there's EPIS, which I don't know if we've heard EPIS come up before. There's just so many names. Sylvie's probably not going to be home at 10 p.m. That's probably not a good idea to call her tonight. I should probably call her tomorrow. I'm going to ask the 41st for money in case they'll give me something so that Kim doesn't have to do this. I'm sorry, Kim.
Just a moment, officer.
10-4, come in, officer. Over.
I am in dire need of financial assistance. As much as, like, I will humiliate myself to try to avoid putting Kim in a rough spot. Like, if Kim was like, I'm going to try to talk us, like, through this, I was like, oh, okay, you know, maybe I'll, like, do, like, some chores or wash some dishes or do something. But now it's like Kim is putting himself out for this in some way. I have to try. I'm willing to humiliate myself further to try to help. All right, I'm in dire need of financial assistance.
10-4, I hear you. I don't have the authority to grant your request, but...
What does he want now?
He's asking for money.
Is he fucking kidding?
I don't think he is.
Don't give that asshole anything. He's just gonna drink it all.
Alright, that's a negative on the additional funds, sir. Over.
So I can try to push this a little further. Or I can show that I'm reasonable and be like, okay, I get it. Let's see. This is definitely, it is paramount to the investigation that you grant me more money. I'm absolutely, it's completely untrustworthy. Please, I'm begging you here. I don't even have a place to sleep tonight. Is not going to soften them. They're going to be like, that's your own problem. Like, we can't trust you and we can't help you. Okay, I heard you. No funds.
Anything else, sir? Over.
No, that's it.
Roger that. 10-10, over and out.
With those words, the cabin becomes silent again, the radio microphone resting on its hook. All right, look in the suspect transport enclosure, also known as the cage.
The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
Kim, no, Kim. You're gonna make your car all fancy because you like cars. And I'm gonna get in the way of you making your stupid car all fancy.
I confiscated this for a little while back.
Okay.
We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
Okay, that. I feel less bad about it if you're confiscating things as opposed to something that you actually like worked for. Sorry, Kim. What are those things?
There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
Okay, so they're not his. Alright.
A vanity he wouldn't mind.
Oh, okay. Kim, they're really dumb. I'm sorry, but your fancy hubcaps are really dumb. But they're important to him. They're important to him. I might think they're dumb, but, like, I'm sure that a lot of people out there think that the things that I put money into for my hobbies are dumb. What do you mean you confiscated them?
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high.
That is surprising, actually. Kim seems by the books. So I am kind of surprised that he just, like, took these things. So you took his spinners?
Mm-hmm. I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence.
Isn't that corruption?
I don't know. Is it? I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
Wow! Okay, so we love Kim. No question. Everybody seems to love Kim quite a lot. However, I must point out that this is actually something that police do. And it's actually a problem. Because they can just take money and things and just never give it back. It's a problem. There's a word for it. What is that word? And so yeah, no, Kim is a very lovable character. He's very kind-hearted. Civil forfeiture. Thank you, Nick. And yes, stealing, but it has a term, so that's how they make it legal. Is that they give it an official term that the cops are allowed to do. It's not stealing. It's not corruption. It's civil forfeiture. It's a nice touch to give that as a problem that kind of muddies Kim's, like, immaculate goodness. Asset forfeiture, yeah. You know, Blue Glass, I don't know. I think he knew the guy wasn't going to ask for them back, if that makes sense. It's definitely not the right thing for him to do. Now, if as a player we are not aware of the fact that this is something that happens in the real world, you know, we're like, oh, this is like some obnoxious kid who was driving high, which is dangerous, and you're not supposed to do that for good reason. Do not drive under the influence of any sort of intoxicating substance. Not even once. Don't do it. I don't care if you think you're only buzzed or only a little high. Don't do it. And so it's set up for us to be like, oh my god, this spoiled rich kid doing this stupid dangerous thing. Like, whatever. Kim, my pal, took his useless, silly, frivolous stuff away from him. But it's a little more complicated than that, because this is absolutely something that cops do in the real world that hurts real people. That's not cool. So it is interesting because Kim does seem to have a great deal of dedication to the Force and people on the Force. And it does seem like he has a great deal of compassion in general. And the way that he talks to other people doesn't seem to reflect a lack of compassion from what we've seen so far. I don't think I've had really any moments where I was like, Kim, that's really unacceptable. How would you treat a person that way? But he does seem so gentle and so, like, mild-mannered in a lot of ways that, like, you kind of wonder if that is his standard personality, or if it's going to turn out that Kim is not actually such a great guy all around, and it's just that I'm, like, basically his friend. And I really wonder, everybody likes him so much. And there's a very strong, like, all cops are bad, opinion in a lot of the circles that I spend time in, online and in real life. And Kim is still quite popular with them, but again, we are able to distinguish between character that I like. Just like I can say, there could be a character that you think is fantastic as a character who's like a villain that you would hate to know in real life, but you can also have a character that you're happy to know as a fictional ally, but don't actually want to have anything to do with in real life. And Kim may be in that category, which would be really interesting because I feel like a lot of times people have a hard time making that disconnection. I don't know. Okay. Well, it does make me feel a little bit less bad about pawning these off and disappointing Kim, because he shouldn't have taken these in the first place. So we're just gonna be a mess. All right. Did you want to put these spinners on your machine?
No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cup with spinners. That would be outrageous.
That's really funny. He's really, really self-conscious about it. I'm just gonna nod. Too wacky? No. Outrageously cool. Oh, then I could get friendship points with Kim. No, I'm just gonna nod.
The spinners shine so bright they reflect on the lieutenant's glasses. He doesn't say anything either.
Now he's a little bit embarrassed, but I'm not making... So Kim doesn't like... If Kim is embarrassed or self-conscious or something like that, he prefers for it to just be ignored. That does seem to be both like what I'm picking up on and what empathy is letting me know. So actually, he is embarrassed when he says that would be silly. That whole thing, he's embarrassed. And if I played along or made fun of him in either way, I think he would be uncomfortable and I would not get Kim points. I think I'm more likely to get Kim points just like as we like just quietly pretend that didn't happen. I think that's what Kim does. Not necessarily healthy. Okay, you said something about a pawn shop?
Yes, the Bird's Nest Roy, near the canal. We've been there. If I'm not mistaken, it should be open late.
So it's fascinating here is they must have written enough flags, like, and enough dialogue here, and had enough of their, like, voice acting, like, lines, that they have separate lines, presumably, for have you been there? Have you not been there? Is it late? Is it not late? You know? Does that make sense? So, continue.
Items that can be pawned at Bird's Nest Roy's appear in your inventory under the Items tab. You can pawn these items when talking to Roy.
Thank you, Toriel. I'm gonna take the spinners. I'm sorry, Kim, but they're really dumb and you shouldn't have them because you took them in really questionable circumstances. And he's self-conscious. He wouldn't... Can you imagine putting spinners on your cop car? That would be really silly. I don't actually think Kim... I think if Kim was going to do that, I think he would have done it already. I think he just dreams about that. No, I shouldn't have them either. No, that's true. Them being here instead of returned to their rightful owner is wrong. However, Ocelot and Kim getting into shenanigans and doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing is kind of the name of the game. So... we're just gonna... I'm gonna take the spinners. Thanks.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
I'm sorry, Kim. Run the number on the victim's armor. Call Alice back in a day for info on the armor. Find all armor pieces. No, this might take a while, like a long while. I don't think I'm going to get that. I think I probably should have given myself the other one, but that's fine. Here's items. Postcard. Lieutenant's handkerchief. Why would I sell that? The magnificent hubcap spinners that Lieutenant Kutsuragi has donated to you so that you can pay for your room at the Whirling. They are slate blue and shimmer haughtily in the light. Yeah, no, I think we're gonna have to go and do this. Let's see if I can remember my way around. Is this it? Is this Roy's? Yeah, this is Roy's. Hey, pal.
Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here?
So I can say, you do know that it's not really a fine night. The weather is terrible. Or, how come you're still open? Or, it's cool that you're still open. Big city vibes. No. How come you're still open? I'm going to ask him that.
The pawn shop is always open.
Is Roy high? And if yes, then what is he on? Hold on. I'm gonna change gloves. We're gonna do this. Oh, those will pay for that and more. It'll give me a little bit of money to deal with. Okay, hold on. Actually, no, I should save. I'm gonna save my game. Save. Okay.
Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here?
Is Roy high? And if yes, then what is he on? Wonder if I sell this to him, if he'll like me more. Let's find out. Something I'd like to sell.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
The lieutenant steps in and hands him the spinners.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
He's gonna really, really like the light effect of them. That's gonna make him really happy, I think. Or maybe, but he'll probably comment on it at the very least.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jamais banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
His voice sounds familiar. I don't know why.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
The lieutenant explains as the pawnbroker opens his register and counts the cash.
Of course. I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Oh, it's the same voice actor as the corpse. Thank you. That's why the corpse sounded familiar and I couldn't place it. Thank you.
Thank you.
He takes the cash, then turns to you.
Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest goes in his pocket. Okay, yeah, so he's going to keep the extra money. That's fair.
The rest is for him, to compensate for the pain of being separated from his radiant spinners.
I'm sorry, Kim.
The windfall is a small consolation.
I'm sorry, Kim.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
I'm not going to show him the corpse photo. I don't think that's going to work. No, I want to know... I want to just ask... I want to ask if I really only get 2 shots, that I only get to show the photo to 2 people. Then I have to be careful about who I send it to. I'm trying to decide if this is a chat hat question, Chrono. And Sophie's not on the hat, so I can actually wear the hat if I want to. Do I want to wear the chat hat for this? The thing is, this could just be a case of Lauren reading into things, which is a problem that we've had where like they'll say a thing like that and I'm like, oh, that must literally be what it means, and then that's not the case, and then I behave accordingly and it's not actually accurate. So yeah, it's gonna bug me otherwise, because I could try to figure it out myself. Will you folks forgive me if I ask a chat hat question about something like that? All right. Yes or no? May I only show the photo to 2 people and then I lose the ability to show the photo? Okay. Excellent. That is good to know. Thank you. So that does seem like that is an instance where the game said something that I guess a normal person would know not to take literally. However, I am not a normal person. So I've gotten in trouble since I was a kid for people asking a question and me not fully understanding the exact nuance of exactly what they meant or that they were joking. It has been a problem. In fact, do you want to hear a silly Lauren story? When I was like 4 or 5 years old, I went over to a friend's house, and her mom asked, "Who wants a cookie?" And I, being a small child, said, "I want a cookie." And the mom laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed and was very scornful, because what I didn't know as a small child who had only ever had cats in my life, some people refer to dog treats as cookies. And sometimes when people talk to dogs, they'll say, "Who wants to fill in the blank?" Yeah. I mean, she may have said "who wants a treat," but I feel like it was a who wants a cookie. And I had never been around a dog. I didn't like dogs. So I was mortified. She did actually offer me a dog treat. She held one out to me as though that was what I'd asked for, while laughing at me. Yes. It was not my favorite time. I was like, how was I supposed to know that? Well, the thing is, a lot of times people do laugh at children for their misunderstandings of things. I think she probably thought that it was clear from her tone of voice that she was talking to the animals, because that's the tone of voice you use to talk to animals. Who wants to go for a walk? Who wants to go for a car ride? That's not really how you talk to people. But yeah. It was very uncomfortable, and it introduced me to the fact that there were going to be things that I was going to be lacking the information to understand, and I was still going to be penalized for not knowing that information, even though I was never given that information. I was really frustrated about it. And that is why a billion years later I still remember this. It's very humiliating. Yeah. And I think she might have told my mom when my mom came to pick me up, and they might have both laughed, but I don't remember for sure about that. Anyway, all that to say, I will respond to things with the information that I have. Which means I tend to take things at face value sometimes, unless I have information that leads me to believe that I shouldn't take them at face value. And especially in a game like this where so much is unknown, I will not just make the assumption that something relates to my life experiences. The power move would have been to eat it, yes, but I do not believe I did. I think I was just mortified and maybe started crying. I could have thrown a temper tantrum too. I definitely had problems with tantrums as a child, because I had overwhelming emotions that needed help to be dealt with anyway. And on top of that, the people in my life tended not to help me with them. They tended to make things worse and make me feel worse for having those feelings. So didn't go so great, alas. But you know, I've done a lot of work now, and I'm in a different situation. So it's all good. It's all good. I survived being little Lauren, and now I'm doing my best being big Lauren. Anyway, I'm going to show this photo to Roy and see what's up. I have a fascinating photo of a corpse here. Show him the photo. I assume this isn't me selling him this.
Oh, no. I don't like those kinds of objects. No sale.
He barely even looks at it. Wow, he thinks I'm trying to sell him that. Do you know what the tattoos mean? That's what I'm wondering.
A photic path, counter-radiance network, anti-magnetism. It's darkness. That's all I know. Sell me something lighter.
Okay.
You have absolutely no idea what aphotic baths are, but the tattoos on the man are not that.
All right, Rhetoric. Rhetoric is like, no, he's full of garbage. Okay. Good to know.
Another time, perhaps.
Let's see. How does this electrochemistry roll go? My odds are even, so to speak. Well, we've already failed one roll. What'd you say we fail another? How does that sound? Let's go for it.
Nope, still no clue. You obviously haven't been doing enough drugs lately.
Yeah, we'll try again. That's fine. I'm pretty sure he's high, but I don't know what he's on. We'll try again. Wanted to ask about my missing gun again.
Sure thing.
No.
Sure, man.
Okay, I'm gonna do other things. Yeah, that's alright. Okay. So this says, pay for damages, return to Garte with spinner cash. Sorry, Kim. But I do feel better. Oh, I need to change my gloves, actually. I do not want to be wearing electrochemistry gloves just going around. You know? Hold on, we're just gonna look around a little bit here. Just in case there's anything mysterious happening late at night. I mean, I'm sure they're very stylish, but mostly I just don't want to lose control and wind up drugsing. You know? Like, that definitely seems like a thing that can happen. Okay, so there's nothing here. Oh, no, not that, no. Go this way. We're gonna go into the whirling in rags again. Oh, I need to level up. I should do that at some point. See if there's anything new that I can say, I can ask this lady about, and then we'll get ready for bed.
Hello again, sweetie.
Oh no, sorry, Lena. Cryptozoologist. Alright. I guess we'll pay this.
Can I help you?
It's about that money I owe.
Yes. Have you got it?
I have your money.
Well?
I like that you have 3 options of how to give it to him. You either just give it to him, you slam the money down and say, I hope you choke on it. Or you say, here it is, sorry for the trouble. I'm trying to make Kim happy. So I'm going to say sorry for the trouble. It's probably not going to go over well. Actually, no, Kim... If the theory is correct that Kim does not believe that a cop should lower himself to that sort of thing, maybe I'll just be neutral. I think I'm just going to be neutral for now.
Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow.
He's not sorry about his behavior for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make sure you're not angry with him.
Huh. Okay, he's scared of me. So I probably could have intimidated him somehow that way.
The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow.
He takes out his keychain and fiddles with the mechanism behind the counter.
Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
I'm gonna have to go and dig up some more trash.
I'll take a room here too.
He opens his wallet. Oh! Okay, Kim's gonna stay here too. But Kim, don't you have your own home to go back to?
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
No, I think we're gonna be done for now. Alright. Okay. As long as you don't have a free place to stay, you have to do this every night. Okay, that's good to know. See if I can find a free place to stay. I've completed the pay for damages. I now have 2 levels. Broken window. I can go up and do that now. We can do that again. And we can level up now. Oh, Kim is having some trouble. Look at him go. Look at him go. Spinny, spin, spin. Spinny, spin, spin. Kim is infected with the disco spirit. Amazing. Incredible. All right. Thanks, folks. Thank you for humoring me. Oh my God. I'm sorry. My stomach hurts. All right, Kim. We have boogied. Now, I have 2 skill points that I could put in things. I could put a skill point potentially in physique, maybe? How many do you have to level this up? Can you level this up? Is that a thing? No. It does not seem that you can level that up. Okay. Okay, so maybe you don't, yeah, you don't level up those. Okay, so you make your build, and then you have to level, okay, that makes sense. Alright, so, if I don't want to do that, put another point in Shivers, because I'm interested in Shivers. I should probably put a point in not dying, but like, where's the fun in that? Yes, what is going on in here? Oh, we're almost done with Derealization. We have 2 other thoughts that we could have. So I could, in fact, get a thought or 2. I could unlock thoughts. I wonder if there's a reason why you would want to do it in... It looks like there's only this many and then you're done. So you're going to have to lose some thoughts. That's interesting. Okay. I'm going to unlock a thought. Yes. Kingdom of Conscience. Or the 15th Intertribe. Almost sinking the project. The thought cabinet was a problem in the development. I think it's really cool. Heartache is powerful, but democracy is subtle. Incrementally, you begin to notice a change in the weather. Okay. So we could do Kingdom of Conscience, which will give us a loss to Half-Light. I don't remember what Half-Light is, but I don't think I have any points to spare in that. What is Half-Light? Ha! Threatening. Losing control. Fight or flight response. Sense the way situations are about to turn. Yeah, this is not something I'm going to care about having points in right now. Sorry. Hmm. Like, I want to know this. I'm really curious about the world building here, and I'm kind of afraid of pulling in one of these too soon, if that makes sense. Yeah, well, that's why I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't have it this early, because I suspect that once I have it, it's going to start affecting things. And I'm scared of that. But I guess I did choose it for a reason. I chose it because I am guilty of this. It's funny, I was talking a little bit, I have to talk very carefully about this game with friends, that I was visiting a friend over the weekend who'd played this game. And so we were talking a little bit about the way that it skewers various philosophical and political beliefs, and specifically based on the experiences of the writers themselves, and how clever that is, and how well done it is, and how, like, no matter what you do, you're not going to be let off easy. Yeah, let's go ahead and internalize Kingdom of Conscience and see what happens. I do really want the 15th in their tribe too. Okay, well, internalize Kingdom of Conscience. All right. I'm sure this will go well. So I can either put another point in Shivers, bringing it up to the point of, like, something. Oh, I lose points for Volition. Oh. Oh, my morale is low, and that makes my Volition low. Hold on, I'm going to take a look at this. Cool for sane people, well-adjusted cops, the non-suicidal. Volition urges you to be a good guy to others and yourself, and enables you to resist temptation. Oh, shoot! Okay, so in other words, walking around with my psyche down, like I have been, walking around with psychic damage means that your volition is down. That's not good. That's not good for me. I should maybe not do that. Okay, those of you who've watched me play traditional RPGs, like JRPGs and stuff, you've seen how often I sometimes need to be reminded to heal my party. So if I know that there is a reason why you'd want to kind of, like, top up your stats, I'll do that. But I didn't realize there are reasons why I'd want to top up that. Now I do. Now I do. So. Yes, the mailbox was very cute. Alright, so I should probably put an extra... Okay, hold on. Before I waste my limited run of items. Does sleeping heal any of my morale, yes or no? Okay. Alright, sweet. That's what my gut tells me because I've played a video game before, but I wasn't 100% sure. Alright, so we're gonna go up the stairs then. Wait, I still have another point I need to spend. Low on health, put points into endurance. What do you think I am, game? Some kind of wants more than 1 HP? Gremlin min-maxer? No thanks. I don't need health points. I mean, I probably should. Why does this have 4? Yes, Ocelot is a Sierra point-and-click protagonist. Thank you. Losers who want to stay alive, indeed. I really probably should. Half-Light being in the negatives is probably going to be bad. survival instinct is lacking and your method's limp-wristed. Those who respect violence will not respect you. So I should probably not have half-light out, like, in this situation when I'm gonna go deal with Measurehead. Half-life, half-light. Look, it's almost the same word. I don't know. I can do the smart thing. The not dying thing. Or I can't put any more points in this. Skill cap reached. Okay, fair. All right, well, that does help make that decision a bit better. So do I want to have 2 HP? I probably ought to. Thing is, all of these are high enough level that to get them much higher I think is dangerous for now. Certainly Inland Empire and Empathy are plenty high for now. Encyclopedia is doing great. I don't think I need to put another point in Rhetoric because it's just interjecting all the goddamn time. Why is my drama down? Is it my pants? Do I have anti-drama pants? No, that's my base. Everything else is up. Oh. Oh. Oh, my items are all brain items, apparently. Okay. Got it. Let's see. I feel like I should probably do this so I'm less likely to die. Endurance is the one that gives me an HP, right? They just said that. I need to get some more clothes. That's important. I don't know how high it goes. My brain tells me maybe it only goes up till 10, in which case 6 is pretty high. It's over halfway. You'll notice that authority doesn't have any points in it. Suggestion is down because of something I've got. I think maybe my stupid pants. I don't know. I think I'm okay with it there. I feel like I should probably do the responsible thing and try to make it so I don't die. This might give me one more chance. Then again, I'm just gonna load my save anyway if I die. You know? Like, what's the alternative? Saying, well, canonically, Ocelot is dead now. Exactly, Nick. I'm a glass. Well, the thing is, I could sit on it and forget that I have it until I get an idea to use it. Because the thing is, visual calculus is great and I love it. But I think it's like, the thing is, I have points in all of the things that I care about already. Maybe reaction speed. Reaction speed seems to be your ability to, like, notice things. I mean, perception obviously is that as well, but I might take in this. Has it? Okay, I don't remember. Visual calculus has succeeded several times too. I think perception and reaction speed are the alternatives. They would fit my playstyle better. Okay, hold on. We're going to consider between these two, okay? So reaction speed, cool for shot dodgers. Thinkers on their feet, that would be useful. Pinball heads. I'm unlikely to be in a pinball tournament, but if I am, this would definitely help. No, I think I can unlock the visual or the window already. I feel like I did something that lets me get that. I don't know what it is. See, reaction speed is the agility of your body and mind. It is instinct. It enables you to dodge punches. Like, that's gonna happen. Knives, bullets. Also, sucker punches of the verbal kind. That's more likely. You'll be more streetwise. Never lost for words or lacking a witty comeback. Your mental alacrity lets you connect little details on the fly, working in tandem with your intellect skills. That sounds good. At high levels, reaction speed makes your twitch reflex freakishly good. However, when your body acts before your mind, innocent situations can turn bad fast. You're high-strung, overly alert. At low levels, though, you won't be the one shooting first, which probably means you won't be shooting at all. Okay, reaction speed sounds really good. It gives me... It gives me sass, my friends. Sass. Do you know how tempting putting points in sass is? I can't think of much. All right, perception. You've got to make a case against me unlocking my sass. Why do I have so many possible points that I could put in perception? I think is what that is. Maybe I'm wrong. No. Okay. Perception wants you to be open to the world, with eyes, ears, and nose working at full capacity. It enables you to take in what others don't notice. The little wad of bills hid away in the sugar bowl. Did you notice that was actually kind of what was going on downstairs in the kitchen? The little wad of bills hidden away in the sugar bowl. The odor of a perp hiding beneath the floorboards. The gulp of a suspect after claiming they've nothing to hide. At high levels, perception takes in every finer detail of the physical world, enough to overwhelm all but the strongest mind. However, with low levels, you are going to miss out on everything. After all, you can't arrest what you can't see, hear, or smell. No, I think I need sass. This would have been really nice to have in that conversation with Joyce. That's the real reason why I want it. I really failed miserably. Granted, that actually worked out, I think, mostly in my favor, because it kind of made her, I think, underestimate me. But still, I want to be sassy. I want to be sassy. Can you imagine giving me sassy answers? I mean, I probably won't take them, because they'll probably be clown shoes. But you never know. You never know. I think I want to go with sass. This may be a bad idea, but I don't care. I wonder... No, I'm going to go with it. Also, I might be slightly more likely to not get hit by things. And since I have no health, that's probably wise. We're going with sass. Sass o'clock, my friends. Oh, revert. You can undo that. Okay. So you can take your points off of things and put more points into things if you want to. Okay. Well, sweet. No, wait, no. Never mind. That's only for that one particular point I put in. Well, that's fine. Accept changes and close. I have done it. I have done it. Oh. I can go do the shelf for crime novels again. This is having some trouble. Okay. Well, I guess one of these rooms is going to be Kim's, probably. Man, remember when I started playing this game and was walking around here trying to figure out... Oh, look, the disco ball is spinning down there. You see it? You see the light? Okay, hold on. No. No. It's this one I want. End of day debrief with Kim. Join him on the Whirling in Rags balcony after 22 o'clock. 2200? When you're calling it a day. Yes, it was months ago. It's been a while. Alright, Kim, let's do this. And then we'll go and do the visual calculus thing. No? This doesn't work? This isn't it? Oh! Observation. A gust of briny wind washes over you. It's a day that drags on for months. It says to join him on the balcony, so.
This is the door to the room you redecorate.
Wait, please tell me that because I didn't save after I did that. If I do this, does this actually shut down for the night so I miss the chance to debrief with him? Because I just tried to do the thing that it said to do. Did I do it wrong? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Good night, Lieutenant.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe. And besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
We're doing that, I think, probably to minimize the chance of being eavesdropped on. All right, let's go. Here we go. Thank you, Kim. Kim is taking care of me. This is what he does.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then,
where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM?
He lights a cigarette. I didn't know you smoked, Kim.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Huh. That's interesting. That's a nice little character developing moment. And he takes lots of notes. One might say he takes notes obsessively.
oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
How did you get so cool, Kim? I don't want him to feel like I'm making fun of him. I'm afraid he will. We're gonna try this, and that'll confirm something. How did you get so cool, Kim?
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy.
He flicks the ash. Can you hear the dialogue? I'm sorry, I don't think I can change the balance right now, but I might be able to. Actually, I can. Okay, you can hear it? The light of his cigarette illuminates a fleeting smile. He flicks the ash. It's like it's not cool to smoke.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easier to simply quit.
That is a really interesting point, Volition. It's a strange thing to do. But I guess he's got control issues, and that's one of the ways that he deals with it. Right then, the debrief.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day.
I'm gonna change the balance a little bit of the sound. I love this background music. I'm gonna turn it down a bit though. Okay. That should help. Okay. How do you think today went? That might have been too much. We'll see.
Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. It was not easily approachable in that state, but we did it.
Yes.
I would say our initial inspection was very thorough, and we have solid leads to follow up on.
I did that. He's gonna yell at me for shooting in the belly. He's gonna tell me I did a bad job with that. But I did a good job with the inspection. He thinks I did. I got gold star for that. Thank you, Kim. I feel good about getting points. I'm giving myself a gold star. I got like a 95% in my initial inspection. I'd maybe like a 20% or some of the other stuff.
Then you shot him in the chest, which wasn't ideal, and we still have to get him down from the tree.
Yeah, there's not a lot of gold star there.
By not ideal, he means he can't believe he let you try that trick and would be angry if he didn't feel the outcome was partly his responsibility.
Okay, yeah. I'll have you know, it actually requires some Lauren willpower to not go back and load the save and undo that mistake. Because I don't like having done mistakes. I don't like doing things badly. It really, really bothers me. But this is a video game, and we need to learn to come to terms with the fact that sometimes things don't go perfectly, and that's okay. It can, in fact, be interesting that way. So, we're going to roll with it for better or for worse. Gotta say, I admit I'm a little out of practice.
Being sober also tends to help with precision.
Huh!
But moving on to the interviews.
I'm not on anything right now.
We weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow.
Yes, I failed to do that. Sorry, Kim. That's true, Zalili, yes. That's true. Ocelot came with lots of mistakes. And there is no right answer with some of these situations.
We tried to interview the Wild Pines rep, but she asked us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it.
Yeah, we'll try to figure that out.
I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us.
Okay, we'll see what we can do. He purses his lips.
If Kim is emphasizing something this much, it really must be important.
Okay, alright. I guess I will actually dig that up tomorrow.
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
I only ran during tonight's stream. I haven't run otherwise. That's really funny. I didn't realize he would tell me off for that. I didn't even know how to run until like folks were like, you should try this. Yep, it's part of the Jamrock shuffle. Or I don't like to waste time, you know. My mind moves fast. The rest has to try to keep up. Or I'm training for a long distance run. I want to raise money for charity. Or yeah, that's just how we roll in Precinct 41. Or I don't know why I do the things I do, Lieutenant Kitsuraki. I'm sorry, I really like that answer. I'm gonna go with it. I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm not gonna overthink this one. I don't know why I do the things I do, Lieutenant Kitsuraki.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills.
He nods thoughtfully, tapping his finger on his cigarette. Then that line would be different if I wasn't wearing the heels.
Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
He looks at your snakeskin shoes and smiles suddenly. He appreciates orange. His jacket's orange. Alright. So he doesn't have anything to say about my meddling, only about my investigation. Okay. So what are our powers exactly? The RCM?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Rebachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
Wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse? Oh my god, you don't even want to know how many hours I am into this and how little progress I've made in this game, okay? I have a gift of being the slowest player in the world. We just sometimes talk. Yeah, if I only had the one shoe, Kim would be like, how did you do all of this with one shoe? And it's snowing. So, yeah. Fortunately, we found our footwear. Because I imagine it's actually super bad for you to not have shoes and go through snow. If touching snow with my hands is any indication, it's really bad. It's really bad. I think this might be the 15th stream. We're a few streams behind the 1,000-Year Door, unfortunately. Those two got disconnected. It's a really good game. It's very good. I have sort of fucked up a little bit, I can swear, because it's Disco Elysium. But not as bad as I could have. Can unjust, I suppose that's fair. Well, we'll see. If I can avoid having health issues that hold me back, that would be a start. And the more I understand how the game works, that'll probably smooth some things over and speed some things up. But well, he's not technically barefoot. He has socks, but I think he has socks anyway. But yeah, that's not going to really do any good unless they're wool, and even then they're going to do very limited good. Night, Samovar. Let's see. So I'm going to say, wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station.
Huh. So they fine people for doing things wrong, rather than, I suppose, locking people up. I'm curious about this. Fines are really only punishing for people who do not have a lot of money. The people who have lots of money, it's just an inconvenience. So it's like giving them permission to do whatever they want. Yay! Inequality. Woo! Capitalism! Sorry. Continue.
Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
1,000? Why not more?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Ravachol.
Okay, what else?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station cold sleep. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
So I can either say, wait, how can you be sure the arrestee will show up? Or, I see, and if someone resists? How can you be sure the arrestee will show up?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
Interesting. There should be a comma before though, by the way. Just saying.
When power calls you, you come. But power itself is a fragile trick of perception.
Authority, are you realizing that there's actually nothing God-given about you and that you have to work hard to maintain your power because you're not actually inherently superior? Huh? Oh, interesting. There's a country where traffic fines are contingent on somebody's income level. That is actually a really good idea. I see. And if someone resists?
We are permitted to use whatever force we deem necessary, even lethal.
Wait, so if I kill someone while on duty, which apparently I could have shot a child earlier today, presumably if the options that I'm given are to be believed.
You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness.
I'm pretty sure that Kim would not have been comfortable testifying that I was justified in shooting a child.
Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
Have you ever killed anyone, Kim?
Yes. The last time was 4 years ago.
That means he's killed people multiple times. That is a nicely written way of indicating that.
He says it matter-of-factly and moves on.
All right, it's part of the job. I wonder how much disconnect there is between the way he sees himself and the way he sees people. Because he does seem to notice if I'm making people uncomfortable, it bothers him. He doesn't want me to hurt people or make people uncomfortable. So I don't think that he fully has the us versus them mentality, but I do kind of wonder. Have I killed anyone?
That's an improbability. Perhaps even impossibility.
He doesn't think I'd be capable of it. I don't know if I really want to know.
Precinct 41 is known for a higher than average rate of police violence.
Oh. That's not good.
He's not judging you. He's respectfully acknowledging the difficulty of working in your precinct.
What happens to the people we convict?
We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Cuno and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them.
He taps on his coat pocket where he keeps his notes. Okay, so we can arrest people. Revachol can arrest people, but the courts are foreign. That's interesting, because I know there's countries where they're not allowed to have a standing military, but I don't think I've ever heard of they're not allowed to have their own court system. That's interesting. And who makes all these rules? The coalition government?
Yes, the international community's mission in Revachol, and the Moralintern more broadly.
Mission in Revachol. What is the Moralintern?
The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less.
His gaze is absently fixed on a window below that just went dark. Okay. So there was the revolution. And then, after the revolution, there was the whole coalition government comes in and mops the floor, and it just destroys everyone else, and then says we're taking over here. So it's not just after the revolution.
Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Huh, that's interesting. Why do I have a choice to say here? What is the reason why there's a choice? I can say, let's say it was the citizens of Revachol, or let's say it was the coalition government, or say nothing. I'd rather, let's be idealistic and say it was the citizens of Revachol were able to... I mean, the system actually, it doesn't sound... I'm skeptical. Let's say it was a coalition government.
It's probably more honest, yes. Either way, the Moralintern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it.
Ah. So if we do something bad enough as the cops in this particular circumstance, we could wind up with self-policing being rescinded entirely for Revachol, potentially. That's pretty bad. This is pretty bad. They really must feel that the people of Revachol have done something absolutely unacceptable that makes it so they cannot be trusted with governing themselves in any capacity.
Or if they think you do.
Yeah. It's from their perspective. That is a fair point. Rhetoric, thank you. The Moralintern, what is it?
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
The Moralist International? The world's largest political organization. I'm sorry, but I inherently distrust anything that has a name like that. Like, I tend to think that I have a pretty strong set of morals. Like, my values are pretty clearly defined, and I try my best to live by them. But moralists tend to be... in the real world, at least, that tends to be very puritanical, you know? It's funny, I've heard people refer to woke moralists as a way to kind of try to dismiss the progressive side of things. But it's much more a problem on the other side of things, in my opinion. Yes, groups that loudly proclaim their morality tend to not actually be, well, they tend not to be in line with my personal values anyway. They tend to be, the whole thing is that they force their morals on other people, and they tend to be very controlling and somewhat conservative in like, these are the rules, and this is very limited idea of what you can and cannot do. So yeah. So I can either say, if I didn't know, how would you describe them? Or I really don't know. That's how bad it is in here. I'm going to choose one because that's much more Kim's style. See if this works. Because Kim doesn't like me to lose face, and Kim doesn't really like to lose face. And so one is a way of me saying I don't know while still not losing face. And that is more comfortable for Kim, which I'm going to choose to go with because I want Kim to like me and I want Kim to be comfortable. And I have no real reason otherwise to choose between these two options. Like, that's all I've got to go off of. So we'll go with that. If I didn't know, how would you describe them?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
Okay, so that's interesting. I've spent so long trying to figure out what's going on in Revachol itself, but I haven't. On some level, I think I've assumed that the world at large outside of Revachol has some things in common politically with our current world. So the idea of like a universal world party coalition, that the world at large is ruled by one particular group, like across the Royale Belt, like, isn't that the word that we use for money? So they've made a coalition government, which I assume is them ruling over us in particular and not governments everywhere. They run the cops. They run whatever EPIS is. They run all these organizations. Let's find a lot of information. What do they believe in? Center left and center right. So it could go anywhere. It could mean anything.
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
So it is a religious movement. I mean, it says a humanist project, but the way that it's talked about sounds like it's some sort of a religious group, because humanism is not inherently religious, hence you have secular humanism. So we've had the DeLoreans and Dolores come up before. There was a reason, because Ocelot was wanting to name something Dolores, and he couldn't think of why he wanted to name it Dolores. I think it was Joyce's boat, if I remember correctly. So nothing here expressly says religious, but the way that it's described sounds like it's based in faith of some sort. Her Innocence, Dolores Day, like just the way that that's described, the terms fit, like they map to my understanding of like a religious setup better than a secular setup. But that is interesting because humanism is something I usually associate with non-religious circumstances. So the juxtaposition of those two, I think, intentionally goes against what we might immediately expect. So I like that. That's interesting. They're throwing us off balance a little bit with that. So 4 centuries ago, Her Innocence Dolores Day began a humanist project to save the world and take care of all of its people by bringing together like a universal world order of some sort. And people believed in what she said and that the world would be better if they listened to her. So they banded together across the aisle and decided that they were all going to try to do something for the betterment of mankind. And Revachol did not participate in this, and therefore when Revachol started destroying itself, they decided to go in and destroy it fully and then take over what was left. Yeah, Dolores, I know, means sadness, and day as God. That makes sense. Suffering of God, or sadness of God in Latin. Yes, that's like right on the edge of my knowledge of Latin roots. So that's very interesting. If they're not actually a religious organization that actually follows like what it thinks of as, or what they think of as a religion, they function probably as a religious organization, which makes sense as a moralist group. And technocrats. What is that? That's not ruled by technology. What does that break down to in this context? Ruled by experts. Okay. Ruled by knowledge. Okay, got it. So it shares a root with technology rather than referencing technology. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I know that I'd heard the word before. I was trying to remember what it means, and I failed.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set forth by Dolores Day.
So there's another group of people who... So there's different groups that are trying to follow what Dolores Day said. And they're in opposition to each other. Okay. What is their symbol?
Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
That is an interesting question, and that also means that I'll be able to keep an eye out for blue forget-me-nots or things that resemble that as we go through the rest of the game as a clue. Love, compassion, self-discipline. That does really set the tone of what they're going for.
Something kind and usual.
Not just usual. Trustworthy, in control. That sort of thing. Kim definitely does not believe that that they live up to their motto.
Something almost self-explanatory. Something ominous.
I mean, it is ominous in Inland Empire, thank you. I love that conceptualization and logic are here trying to come together and be like, this is a reasonable thing that we're thinking. And then Inland Empire was like, ha ha! Thanks, Inland Empire. You're helping. Who is Dolores Day?
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
Huh, interesting. What do you think of them?
The Moralintern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
Thought. Imminent. You ready? We're going to be up a little late tonight, sorry. He's basically like, they're here and I can't do anything about them, so it doesn't do me any good to have an opinion on them. If we can become free of them and do things on our own, then I can afford to have an opinion about them. But as it is, it doesn't matter what I think about them. What matters is that we have to live with them. And that can't be negotiated. So you just have to deal with that and focus on other things that you actually have the power to control and do something about. That's what I get out of this anyway. I think that's what he's saying. All right, continue.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
Oh, interesting. You like the Moralintern. I'm curious. I want to question. I want to know about this.
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad.
So he still has some affection for his younger self, the idealist that he was, which I'm sure the writers of this game can relate to.
That's another leitmotif associated with moralism.
A piece of the sky. Okay.
but the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me.
Thinks and changes his mind before he says that. I have an opinion on the Moralintern. Alright, see what that is.
Do you?
The lieutenant arches his brow, then pulls on his cigarette. It's a slim white thing in his fingers. So I can say, things are bad out there, points to the city. We need them here, giving us the right to police Revachol. Or, they've done an awful job here. Have you seen the place? This isn't humanism. Or, we are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting bourgeois rights. Or, mutter silently a bunch of bigoted bullshit that I'm not even going to read out loud to you. Or I can say I don't have an opinion. Forget about it. Honestly, whether they're bad elsewhere or not, they have done a bad job here. This isn't humanism. I mean, maybe it is. And I just don't see the inner workings of what they're trying to do and how hard it is to try to make something function. But I think it's safe to say that Revachol is a mess, and they've kept it a mess. Even if you're okay with, like, I like the ideals of humanism as I understand them. Shocking. So I'm not saying that I disagree with or dislike humanism. Or that Ocelot dislikes and disagrees with humanism as an actual philosophy, but in practice, the way it has been played out in Revachol, I think it's a lot more punishment and anger. Let's try this. Let's see. I'm going to pick this answer. They've done an awful job here. Have you seen the place? This isn't humanism.
We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes.
So I can either say, actually, vigilantes is okay with me, or, yeah, vigilantes sound bad, or maybe we should make our own law. Yeah, I'm gonna probably push Kim away with this a little bit. But I think when we should make our own law, I don't mean the cops should make their own law. I think Revachol should be able to make its own laws. I think it should be able to be self-governing. And they've yet to explain to me what Revachol did that required the removal of its self-government and its ability to self-govern. So I'm going to choose. Maybe we should make our own law, question mark.
Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes. At least the Union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
He looks at the roundabout. Okay. Yes. Maybe I'll be a little bit revolutionary, but not too revolutionary. Goodness, no. We can't push too fast. All right, I'm going to say nothing. Just look into the night.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag.
They mention his glasses a whole lot, and I really need to start taking that into consideration, that he does have really bad eyesight. And he's sensitive about it, and he's not really going to make decisions himself about his limitations because he doesn't want to admit his limitations. He does have some issues there. So we're quietly just standing here in the snow. Let's see if we get a final comment.
This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
So he keeps himself to a single cigarette, even though it's harder than quitting, so that all day he looks forward to the one cigarette he gets. I think this is a man who has only so much room to talk about addiction. Although in his case, I think it comes from control issues rather than having slipped completely out of control. Many things can be tied back to control issues.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Cuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH.
He pulls on the cigarette. He doesn't like this. Why are they like this?
It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our two precincts.
If I had the right points, I would have gotten some options to ask here. I know that because of the phrasing continue, that means that there's a possibility that there could be multiple things to click on here besides that. Because continue indicates that that's the thing that brings the conversation forward. So I don't get to point these things out. I'm not quite sure what they are. My guess is that it's got something to do with having an awareness either of the city itself or an awareness of the cops. So either something along the lines of Shivers or Esprit de Corps or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we won't see. That's the whole thing, is that we're not seeing it. But it is interesting. I feel like usually this doesn't happen. I feel like usually you don't get to tell when you have failed to trigger some flags. So this seems like a slight error here. All right, and in Jamrock and the GRIH, continue.
We run this city. West of the river is RCM land.
He looks at the dark silhouette of the equestrian monument cutting into the night sky. In case you haven't checked that out, you should go check that out. Okay, so on the other side of the city, down there, things are more under control. But not here. It's the Wild West, Wild East, whatever.
It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works. Our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
What is it inside you that is broken, Kim, that makes you drawn to control like this? I'm really curious. Maybe we'll find out.
Night. Captain Ptolemy Price steps into the yard. A piebald horse waits by the motor carriage, chewing oats out of an oat bag. Seagulls fly overhead. The sky is black. Captain Price wears a black suit and a standard patrol coat as he mounts the horse to head home. Rows of houses on either side, hunching over the sidewalks, and Precinct 41 with its dome roof growing distant. Around him, the streets are silent. The kid on the corner waves at the captain as he takes the turn on Petition and Main. The horse neighs. The captain nods back.
That does paint a picture of a location that is much better under control, where the cops are known and respected, greeted, appreciated. Precinct 41 with its dome roof.
Thanks, kid, he thinks. He's grateful.
I'm going to choose to be an optimist here. I can either say, well, I can say we won't change anything here, which is not the option I'm choosing, or I hope our investigation will help improve the situation here, at least do some good. Choosing that one.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
This is a really nice character developing moment. All right, thank you for this.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
He puts out the stub of his cigarette and looks to the door. It's nice. Kim is not somebody that can be simplified and idealized and put in a box. He is a complicated character. People love him, but not because every single thing that he does is what people want him to be. And I like that. All right. Does the pulsing... Okay, this pulsing white thing, that means that that's the thought in my thought cabinet, right? We probably ought to save this for next time. We probably ought to save and load this next time. Because that's probably going to take a bit. Oh, I don't get to save? I don't get to save. Okay, never mind. We don't have a choice. We gotta do this. We can't save while it's up. Then we're gonna do this. Okay. Let's see what's going on with this one.
Jamais vu. Derealization. Jamais vu. The opposite of déjà vu. Not already seen, but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood. Only now. That's the feeling you've been having. And for who knows how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about this. What world are we in? This is a fundamental question.
Like, was it that this world was our world and then something broke it in some sort of crazy mad science experiment, and that's why everything feels just a little off, where I can say this correlates to something in our world, but it's not, or corresponds to something in our world, but it's not the same. The cars are different, like the technology overall is different, weapons are different, the language is different, the science is different, all of these things are different. I wonder, I've talked about that before, and I do wonder. I mean, making the world kind of like ours but different succeeds in making it so that we feel as disconnected as Ocelot does. But I wonder whether that disconnect is something, whether the reason why we feel a disconnect is actually similar to why Ocelot feels a disconnect, which is that this is not actually the world that he is from, so to speak. We should go and ask Joyce about this tomorrow. Yes, fair. I suppose I will accept this. What bonuses do I get? +1 XP for every orb clicked. All intellect learning caps raised by 1. Excellent. Accept. Fascinating. Fascinating. Oh, that's so exciting. So that means if I go over to this, these have higher caps. Okay. Interesting. I do like clicking on orbs. Well, we should probably go inside, save our game. We've gone over a bit. And then, we'll save and wake up in the morning. Because I suspect that that might trigger something. It has been a pretty full stream, hasn't it? It's funny, I do feel this pressure to try to do things perfectly, to try to do things right. And so when I make mistakes, I'm like, oh no. Like, I could load my save, but I don't want to. I want people to be like, wow, gosh, Lauren got everything right. But there is no getting everything right. Not in this game, not in this story, not in this setup. I do want to play Final Fantasy 16. I'm a little concerned about the content warningness of it. So one of my best friends is playing through it, and she said that she'll let me know what she thinks once I, she'll let me know what she thinks of it once she's played all the way through it. So we'll see. But yeah, but it's not just the dice. I make decisions in playing this game that are not always the right decision, and you can't know what the right decision is. Because no matter how well you know the character, I don't think you'll be able to, like, know every aspect of the world. And you'll never be able to know all the aspects of the characters. And there's so many unpredictable and unknowable details that you can't control it. You could only have a perfect run if you had something telling you what to do, which I don't. Did I save? I don't know if I saved, so I'm going to save again, just because. Okay, I did save. Well, we're saving again, just for safety. All right, well, thank you, Ergo Parado. Thank you for dropping by. Yeah, no, and Gibraltar, I think that's a good point. It's not as simple as right and wrong. But you still want to try to do everything right. If you are a person who wants to try to do everything right. And that becomes very frustrating when there is no such thing as right. You know? There may be a bunch of wrongs. Yeah, I'm glad this felt like a full stream to you. I am enjoying it. I'm a bit nervous and I'm a bit uncomfortable. And I think that that's just how this game is going to be. And I think maybe eventually I'll become comfortable with the discomfort. And until then, I'm just going to continue doing my best. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. Stick around for just a minute. I think if my friend Rob is still alive, he's the one who's trying to go for partner. So let's see if we can help boost him to partnership a little bit. And go from there. Thank you so much for being here. I will be streaming Thousand Year Door on Tuesday. I will continue streaming this as I do every Thursday next week. If anything comes up, I'll let you know. If I can manage to have the stamina to do additional streams, I'll let you know. But for now, I'm just going to do my best. Hope for the best. Hopefully, I'll get my cover for Pride out before the end of the month. We'll see how that goes. Good night, everybody. Let us go raid Rob. Should have hit the button. Oops. Did I do that wrong? Ah, I did that wrong. There we go. All right. Thank you all, my lovely, lovely friends. I appreciate you being here and your patience during this. Take care. Have a good night, and I'll see you later. Bye.